Raise your cap.
Oh, by the way, Sarah,
I'm
thank you
big
so
enough
much
that I
for
do not remember.
Thank you for dinner, Sarah.
You're very welcome.
Some stuff.
I can do part of a recap. I might need an assist, but I can do part of a recap.
I will assist as needed.
Okay, so last week I just listened to the front half of the episode again yesterday because it's so good. Julius tried to go to his house, the house that he owns, and found that his key was missing. And some random dude was talking to him, like, sucks to be you, guy. And Julius was understandably like, what the fuck? Well, of course it was Ix, because obviously.
Yeah.
Because troll.
They go inside. Ix gets the first exclusive look at Julius's fancy home. And is basically like, bruh, why didn't you tell us you had a house, also are a crime boss? Those are two important things for us to know. And Julius was like, get out of my shit, man. And basically, Ix eventually extracted a promise from Julius that he would tell the party about, and this is crucial, tell the party about the house and the crime boss thing. That is what Ix extracted the promises regarding. The next day, Julius is like, hey, y'all, I know we're having breakfast. I've got something to show you. Takes us to his house. We're all like, oh, fuck, the house. Drops the absolute bomb that the High Priestess of Lede had a child named Kay, who, when he was 7 years old, accidentally cast command on some important foreign dude.
Some asshole.
WTF written in big letters with two exclamation marks.
Yes, incredible. Named Thomas Walsh, who we all know and nobody likes. And that was Julius. Julius was like imprisoned in complete darkness for 3 years. Busted out. Started a crime guild circle thing called the Gilded Cage, with 5 other people he was imprisoned with. Was a crime boss. Crucially, was a crime boss. He dropped this afterwards, though. He dropped this after he drops the whole High Priestess thing.
He hoped it would make you guys feel a little less like, oh, he's a crime boss. More like, oh, fuck, okay.
He did successfully throw us off our rhythm. Also throwing us off our rhythm was Shinohara showing up, being surprised by Nagi running and being like, you got dwarves, which was a hilarious line, by the way. Because he did got dwarves. Shinohara was like, what the fuck? Julius was like, it's chill. They're cool. They're like, cool. I'm never going to let that one go, Parker. There was also a honey badger named Hana.
Yeah.
She was there as well. Julius was happy. Aster was a badger cushion, basically, for the rest of the thing. Shinohara was like, what the fuck,
was just like, okay, treat you like weird dog.
Mm-hmm. Weird dog. Good puppy. Good, cool excellent dog. Puppy. 10 out of 10. Good badger. Or shall I say, honey bastard, am I right? Name drop.
Bastard.
So then, Shinohara doesn't really like us, but she's like okay with us. It's like a weird tension there. And then at some point, Julius is like, maybe I should talk to my mom. And then he was like, maybe I should talk to my other mom first. And so we reached out to his mother, whose name I don't remember. Ravetta. We reach out to Ravetta. We're like, hey, your son's alive. Goes by Julius. You up? You around? Like, you want to meet up? Like, I know it's been a minute. It's been like 20 years, but consider. And she was like, yeah, okay, that's sketch. I'm not going to meet where you guys want to meet. I'm going to meet on my terms, which is good and smart of her, but also it means we could be walking directly into a trap. We go, we reserve a room. Julius and Shinohara go and see their other friend who, like, hit their head and is maybe in a coma, but is really just astral projecting, and is like a monk, just like Nagi, which Julius didn't realize until he's there, and he's like, I have one of those, and then I have clerics as well. And so I think we left off with, like, clerics and Shinohara and Julius all hanging around Aki, chilling. and trying to figure out what to do. Crucially, Nagi is not there because they
Yeah.
did not bring Nagi over there because they went to Nagi and were like, "Hey, do you know
Ren.
anything about? Do you know
Who
anything
said
about?" like-"
Nagi is causing problems in Julius's house?
And Nagi was like, "Nope, don't know anything about it."
Sleep deprived Ren thought it was a great idea just to only ask the one question of Nagi and then walk away because I was tired. But he's probably gonna go back and go grab Nagi later.
I mean, you're valid, but it's extremely funny.
It is very funny. Cause it's just funny because it's just Julius walking between his house and Shinohara's.
But they have a secret passage.
So
Yeah.
did Julius look stressed last time he came in?
A little. Like flustered.
Okay,
maybe?
can I hide from Julius while he's gone?
Fucking god!
Sure, roll stealth.
Okay.
Am I supposed to roll something to...
Well, you're not there. I don't. You
You're
have
not
to be there to pursue me.
Okay.
Hopefully, I roll okay.
Roll bad, please.
I guess I could open up roll 20 maybe.
Ah, yeah!
Nice. I rolled a 2.
That's probably good.
She's hiding under she's hiding under behind a curtain or something, and her tail's sticking out.
Oh.
Meanwhile, in Aki's room, Shinohara is looking very confusedly between Julius and Aster, and Alex, kind of waiting on news.
Julius kind of looks at her a little bit, and he's
I do remember that Aster relayed that good news, his soul is still intact. He couldn't detect anything, although that was already obviously old news. He did have the minor what the fuck moment about what he saw, but
Well, it sounds like you won't be able to do anything until tomorrow, or something useful.
I mean, I can attempt to, but I'd have to reshuffle my spells, and even then I don't know if they're going to make a dent in what's going on. Whatever's going on, my magic skidded off it.
Nocturne's here.
Nocturne?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello!
Our beloved.
Hello?
Which is good, because this is actually a scene that vaguely involves Alex.
Sorry.
It's all good.
That's okay.
It's okay. You do not have to be, but
Okay.
this is a scene that Alex can contribute to.
He might.
Stands for pasta.
The what?
The P and PK stands for pasta.
Great.
Sorry.
This is what you
No,
get for
I
having
feel
the
like you
camera
are
on.
sourced enough that we are fucking incoherent right now.
All of
Yep.
us are fucking tired.
Sorry, I
I
looked at
just-
everyone's cameras. I saw PK eating.
We just slept accidentally for 3 more hours than we intended to, and it's like, it feels better than when we would have woken up, but
You're
Nothing's
all
real.
good.
there you go.
Yeah, it's all good.
Sleepy.
No.
Okay, let's go. Let's go dungeons.
Dungeons and
Maybe even dragons.
Yeah.
Shinohara is kind of like, so their soul still intact? What?
In the most basic terms possible, he's still alive. It's not some kind of enemy. They are still alive. Aster gets it right. I do not. I'm sorry. They are still alive, rather than their body being in stasis, like. Which I know you know, but there's ways to replicate a heartbeat without that actually being.
Right. Okay.
Well, I could go just grab Nagi. Just in case.
I mean,
when I asked
considering
her-
she's the only person who I've seen with something like this
Yeah.
before Aki.
Yeah. No, I
I-
didn't realize it at the time, but they're very alike. At least in what they're able to do.
Right. So someone want to go get her?
I'm gonna go get her. Do you both want to stay here? And he's gonna look at Shinohara like, do you want them to stay here?
I don't think it doesn't matter, I guess. I don't care.
Okay.
I'm staying right here.
Does she look uncomfortable?
Make an insight check.
Okay.
At advantage.
Ooh, excellent. Okay. Where's Julius' sheet? Julius. Where's your sheet?
Julius the Julius.
Julius. Son of Inoue Satoshi. Please, let me have my sheet. At advantage. Insight. That's a 10.
Yeah,
Wow.
she's kind of giving off this sense of like, no, it's chill. I'm just gonna stay here though.
I'm just gonna stay here and make sure you don't do any bullshit against my friend.
Mm-hmm.
He'll take a little bit of a look at the rest of him and just shake his head a little bit. Just say, and just walk out.
Fair.
So you're gonna go find Nagi,
Yeah, Power walks to his house.
and I assume your passive perception is higher than a 9.
I'm pretty sure, but I'm gonna check. Yeah, it's an 11.
Can I say
Not
that
much.
Snowball is like sitting right by the curtains that Nagi's hiding behind, just kind of low key sharpening her claws?
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazed she's not at the point of trying to play with Nagi's tail.
She's just chilling.
Straight up vibe.
Yeah, you spot Nagi like hiding behind a curtain, the tail kind of poking out and twitching a little bit, like in that like, haha, I'm hiding excitement. Snowball is sitting right there, like absent-mindedly sharpening her claws on your curtain.
He's gonna glare at Snowball and mutter like, "You're gonna be paying a damage deposit." And then he's going to grab the edge of the curtain and pull it back to look at Nagi.
You found me. Hi. What's up?
What are you doing behind my curtains? Are you looking for more knives?
No, well, I was, but then I got bored, and now I figured, hey, Julius looks like he's in clearly good state of mind. I'm gonna mess with him a little, and so I did.
He kind of like cracks the smallest of smiles. Thanks. Look, a friend of mine is kind of, when I talked about the stasis thing, can you just come with me for a little bit? Just to maybe
Yeah, I could do that.
just see if anything about it piques your interest or something. I don't know. If you know anything. I don't know how this shit works. And he's just gonna kind of lead you off.
Are you going through the secret passage or just across the lawn again?
Let's just go across the lawn. He doesn't really want to show Nagi the whole passageway.
Y'all walk past Ayemi again, who is still kind of awkwardly just kind of busying herself, I think, in the living room. Kind of like poking at the fireplace as if she's like, this is, yep. What is going on?
Nagi will cheerfully wave at her.
She waves at you back. and Julius leads you upstairs to the room where Aster, Alex, and Shinohara are all kind of awkwardly looking at each other.
I think Aster would have kind of stepped out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
I'd still be vibing in the hallway, but stepped out of the room to let Shinohara feel a little bit more comfy.
Mm-hmm.
Because he also can't really do anything until we have the possibility of Nagi here, so he's just like, okay.
So the two party clerics are kind of vibing out in the hallway, and Shinohara is kind of awkwardly sitting in Aki's room. And Nagi, when you walk in, the first thing you notice is you recognize the figure on the floor from one of the paintings Julius had done at one point in his workspace. And then something... You look down at this person who is unconscious, and there's something. It's almost this gut feeling. I need you to make me a history check.
Okay.
Come on.
11.
That's
I have a
pretty
negative
good
one.
with the
It's not going to go well most of the time.
You can't... You have this gut feeling like something about this is familiar. Maybe it just reminds you of Shinji Kanjiro or something. But
So what can I do to help?
I mean,
Nagi, remember how I said your soul was a clusterfuck?
Yeah. And she smiles happily.
Theirs is almost the same.
Ha. That's
We
cool.
were... I don't know if cool's the word I'd pick, but you do you. Honestly, I'm not actually sure where we're planning on going from here.
Huh.
mm,
If you say they're like me, then do you mind if I check them for tattoos or?
Asta's gonna look at Shinohara.
Yeah, she's asking Shinohara and Julius, because Julius knows them too.
she kind of looks at Julius almost like, would you trust this person?
he just gives her a very slight, nod. Just one.
Oh, all right. Yeah, sure.
Just
Here, I'll
reach
help
out.
you set them up.
While this is going on, Asta is gonna flare spooky vision and see if proximity changes anything with either of them.
You're gonna need some headache pills.
Yep. I did expect that. He expected that.
But there doesn't seem to be a reaction as the two of them come in contact or move closer at all.
No weird magnetization.
Mhm.
I think both my thought and Asta's thought were, it was very possible that the oily parts would either draw closer together or would.
There doesn't seem to be a reaction now.
Yeah, okay.
Nagi, Shinohara helps you pull sort of the resting sort of clothing off of Aki's sort of upper body. And the first tattoo you spot is sort of placed just below their left shoulder blade. It is a similar tattoo to the one you saw Akiba having, the one you've seen Julius have on the back of his neck,
Mhm.
It is the same little cage tattoo with it's a different bird, but there's a bird and 2 bars,
A
just like
bird
Julius.
appropriate to their rank, right?
Yes. I don't specifically remember which bird it is, Julius, that Aki had.
Check real quick. I think it was a
It is an osprey.
yeah, osprey. Yep. They're all bird of prey, basically.
Mhm. And then
Bird of day.
as the upper bit sort of comes farther down around their waist, you see what starts to look like the topper parts of a tattoo that kind of resembles the pattern of waves breaking across their upper back. Not their upper back, they're sort of like they're the small of their back. And that sort of comes down and wraps around the hips and up to the stomach as you look, and it goes from water into licks of flame, which are then caught up by wind, and then which blow over a bit of what looks like possibly earth or rocks that then gives way again to the river, sort of in a circle around his midriff. Their midriff.
Okay. Yep. There's definitely tattoos, and they're kind of similar to mine too.
I think Asher, who is still spooky vision, you just watch him kind of make a couple of faces.
What? You have tattoos? Are they actually visible? I can't remember.
You can see them peeking out on her forearm a bit,
Oh, okay.
and a bit where her stomach is. But then she'll just, since she's wearing a shirt anyway, she'll just go ahead and remove her outer top, and you'll see like, almost sort of like where Aang's are, along her arms and along her stomach, along her legs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll see tattoos there. And
Huh.
they all sort of coalesce towards her stomach. Where there is one arm is there's fire, earth. Well, there's grain, red, there's colors associated with the elements and whatever. And yeah.
Yeah.
Julius, again, as soon as like the top bit comes off, you're like, fuck, right, Aki.
Yep.
Aki mostly kept them covered, but as soon as you're like, damn it.
Yeah, why didn't I see this? It was right there. He's just like, right now.
When I looked, they were once again, Asta gets it right and I don't. They were very transmutation magic all through. It was very bright.
That's weird.
What does transmutation magic do again? I forget. The
transformative.
Transformative, or it keeps things from changing.
Okay, that makes sense.
Wait, DM, can I? It's not something mechanically that happens in D&D, but you can tell me if I can make a check for this or not. But I want to sense their chi, essentially, and if it's still connected to their body, if there's any blockages. Martial arts stuff.
Make me a wisdom check.
Okay, I can do that. 21.
What?
You sort of settle yourself next to Aki, and you tell Shinohara to lay them back down, and you kind of hands over the middle point where their middle chakra would be, and sort of kind of mimicking something your mother would have done to you multiple times whenever you got a little bit stuck or frustrated, or you sort of kind of try. You don't know exactly what she was doing, like key-wise, but you can kind of remember the motions she made and the way she concentrated and the way it kind of felt to have her kind of poke at you spiritually. And you try to do the same thing, and you get a response. And Aster, this time your spooky vision, you can almost see Aki's kind of soul sort of reflex a little and then rebound back into place.
Oh. Hey, Nagi, whatever you just did, I just saw.
Yeah. What's the response Nagi gets though? What does she feel?
It seems to move pretty solidly through the. Oh, I gotta look up a fucking chakra map.
Sorry.
Gods.
It sort of seems to be connected. Like
Jasper.
the sacral and the solar plexus points are pretty solid. It seems to move pretty easily between them, and then the root is also fine. It is the upper 4 chakra points that it seems to kind of get stopped and blocked at and kind of choked through as it starts to try to move.
And what can I glean from that? Like, what can that tell me?
Make me an Arcana or a medicine check.
I'll take medicine.
Can
Thank you
I?
very much.
Possibly offer assistance. Would that work, or?
No, I'm not going to let you do that, Ash.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
That's part of why I asked, can I? Not.
Yeah.
Nagi, you don't know a lot of the technicalities of this sort of thing. If you're sure if your mom were here, she could, do a much better thorough diagnosis.
That's definitely what Nagi's thinking right now. I wish Mom was here.
Yeah. But where it's getting stuck is that it's starting to move. Between the solar plexus and the heart is where a lot of the energy starts to move from being purely physical and rooted in like helping to survive and helping to maintain bodily function to a lot more of the personal and the spiritual connection. You don't know exactly what like a chokehold like this means, but you kind of know that's kind of the vibe.
Okay. Yeah, Nagi will just say, there's some sort of weird blockage, chokehold, I guess, where the energies and the natural energies in the body transition from physical to spiritual and personal. I don't know what it means, though. I don't know what could cause it either. If my mom was here, she would know.
Julius is looking at Nagi like, wow, I can't believe you actually said something like that. Like, he's actually impressed a little bit that, he's like, I don't understand what you said, but it sounds legit, I suppose.
So, depersonalization, is that what you think is up? Spiritual depersonalization.
Maybe. I'm not quite sure. It could be anything from a really messed up spirit journey to someone put them under a spell, and
certainly whatever you did, I saw the soul sort of come back into vibrancy for a moment before settling back. It was like,
could that be? So Shinohara, you said that he experienced a head trauma from a fall, right? What led up to that? I mean, obviously a battle, but what type?
I mean, I had assumed that was what happened. Aki was with you.
Wait, what? Really? Was he? I thought I had other people. I thought I had Watanabe and
Did you? Did I fuck that up?
let me see. Hold on. Cuz I'm pretty sure he was you.
This keeps
Let me
being
check my stuff
extremely
because I'm
funny
pretty sure
from a
it
meta
was-
level.
Yeah, I had Katsumi and Watanabe.
All right. Okay. Shinohara kind of. I mean, honestly, that's more just kind of what I assumed happened. That's what normally happens to people who end up like this. It's a head injury or a back injury. We got separated, and she kind of looks down at the ground a little bit.
What was your guys' mission that night?
She looks up at you, Julius. Amaya wanted to take at least the southern portion of the Docks District. She wanted to cut into the Black Devil's trade in the area. So we were going to take 2 of the smuggling points by force, while a couple of other of our friends sort of handled the officials, whether that was a bigger bribe or it doesn't matter.
Other means.
Oh wait, so you guys, this is the first time she's mentioned it to Maya, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least to Naki. How well did the Samaya know you guys?
Very
She looks at you again, Julius, a little bit like, okay.
Yeah.
Nagi, Amaya was the name that Julius gave to what he saw under Straits.
You don't need to.
Yeah,
think
I
about
remember.
That. It's fine. Amaya was who saved us from prison. She basically raised at least me and somewhat Shinohara.
Did
We've
she
known
know
her for a
Aki very
long
well?
time.
Well, she knew all of us really well, better than we knew her, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, she was always secretive. Mostly to, I guess, under the guise that she thought she was keeping us safe. But that might not have been what she was doing. She was always very nice. Not nice. She treated
She was
us...
a mean son of a bitch.
Yeah, she was a fucking bitch and I loved her very much. She always took care of us. So, yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that she would know how to handle someone like, well, me and Aki here?
She wasn't a
Then-
magic user. She, as far as I knew, she didn't know any magic.
She was a damn good thief.
She was unmatched with a blade.
Don't let X hear you say that.
Anyway.
If she moved fast enough, she could get anyone down before they had a chance.
But maybe she knew someone or some method to deal with, I don't know, messing with chi, or even how to mess with whatever is, I guess, not so unique about me and Aki here.
Is that...
The devils were also there the night, so even if she didn't,
They might have...
Nashimura probably did, or any of his fucking
Hey,
lackeys.
Nagi?
Yeah.
Where does the blockage start? Can you point it out to me? I haven't done much energy work study.
Yeah, sure. She'll point out around the chest area where the blockage starts.
Oh my god, my boy is screaming at me. Hold on, I'll have to come back.
Right about here.
I'll be right back.
That would be roughly around where the heart chakra is.
Okay. Hey, I'm gonna try something.
Okay.
I love that.
You better now. I am back. Apologies.
So it's very particularly the heart chakra where the blockage starts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually need to have a look at the chakras because I'm realizing that it might actually be safer to do this slightly higher up, so that in case whatever this is actually keeping their heart beating.
Yeah. Come here.
Hey Parker, remember that conversation we had about Isaac?
Yeah.
And about a very particular spell that could have some consequences?
Are you about to cast protection from energy?
No.
Yes. And no, hear me out. My thought is that if I can focus on the particular, I can try and in the vaguest possible terms, in the vaguest possible terms, try and protect Aki's core from an outside interference. So the complicated part of this is basically trying to piggyback both Aki's own sense of self as a monk who is clearly at least somewhat aware of their shit, and what he knows of how Nagi and Aki's souls have shaped themselves and how they connect.
You would need to pick one damage type. Acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder.
Only cold and fire would be actual elements, right?
Does there seem to be a particular concentration with Aki's?
Not particularly.
Okay. There is something I can try. I don't know if it'll work. I'm mostly doing the energy work, sort of. And I never learned energy work. Anything I know about it is from extrapolation. But I could potentially try and buffer outside influence with... But the only way I know how to cast this spell is against elemental. And I don't know how helpful protecting against fire or ice would be. So that leaves thunder, poison. I guess it could be something poison. I doubt it's acidic. And the body has enough acid going on that I think that might be a very bad thing to...
Well, you could always try multiple castings, right?
I don't have very much magic left. Or at least not very much magic of the right. I can try. Actually, Alex.
Nocturne went to go get food.
Okay. Because Asta was basically planning and going to ask Alex if he also had protection from... But does the plan make at least a vibe of sense?
Sure, you'd have to cast it to determine whether or not it would work.
Yeah.
Just gotta be careful.
Are you casting it?
Aki.
Sorry, I'm just having a quick look. because I had not realized how much of the chat there was.
The chat is largely stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
It usually is.
I know, but it's funny stupid.
It's not better than normal tonight.
All I know is that
Says
you guys are
you.
talking about lots of poor humors talk.
Because they're relevant. This individual has had their humors blocked.
Absolutely.
And
Watch there
also,
be cheese blockers.
I need to be clear. The original 4 humors are blocked. 4 humors 2 have been bent.
The 4
Four
humors are
humors
bent
too.
and the cheese are blocked.
The original humors.
My hair.
Excessive mucus.
Sorry, don't mind me. My hair looks really auburn in this light, and I'm actually quite enjoying the color.
Yes.
Totally not this color in real life, but I'm quite enjoying it.
Yo.
Oh, well.
Oh
Oh no, am I right?
Blues. We lost-
I will say I was not expecting to get quizzed on the chakras today, so I am leaning on like 3 years of like acupuncture I had in high school, and I'm doing better research like this week.
God.
Sometimes acupuncture.
Yeah, this had happened last week. You would have had a week to prepare, but it didn't, and that's fine. I should have told you that's what I was going to ask about, though.
It's okay. I kind of generally know what I'm doing, but if I say anything horribly wrong, I'm so sorry. I'll fix it.
Yeah. So my Discord yoked me.
So are you casting protection from energy?
Yes, on a meta level, I know that electricity is not a good idea. That protection from lightning is not a good idea because of how much the body relies on microelectric. But I was just asking, does Endura actually have that level of?
Make a medicine check.
Does Indira have voltage gated calcium
Make a-
panels, Parker?
Yeah, make a microbiology check.
Don't you kill my friend, Joe.
This roll isn't going to determine whether or not they exist. This roll is going to determine whether or not Aster knows if they exist or not.
But Parker,
Yeah.
do they?
I went. Alex, roll. Not Alex. Aster, roll medicine. Aster, yes. You know that there's slight electrical signals in the body.
God,
Voltage
Aster
gated
just stop.
calcium panels, baby.
Aster does the opposite of a defibrillator and just fucking yoinks all of the energy out of Aki's body. You don't get to live anymore.
However, lightning damage and the slight electrical signals in the humanoid body are 2 very different things.
Very fair, very fair.
It would be funny if you could cause a heart attack with that, though.
I am not going to allow protection from energy lightning to give people heart attacks. That is not what's going to happen here today.
I have to. So okay, let me actually pull up a chakra map so I.
Good. I mean, I do want to homebrew a
Lordy.
spell for Julius. Maybe.
I am going to invent the spell with the most legit science in it.
The most legit made up D&D
Parker,
science,
I'm
right?
gonna write you a goddamn essay.
Nancy, come here. Fussy, come here. Oh, you are a furry potato.
I love him.
He's just baby.
You know, you might just invent power word kill again.
Yeah.
This rate.
But it'll be power word kill, but with a very sexy and in-depth scientific explanation, which makes it better than power word kill. Because power word kill doesn't have science.
There him is.
I'm putting science in it.
Buddy. He doesn't want to.
I have soup.
Soup.
You have soup.
You have soup.
Okay.
Good for you.
Yeah. Keep it
Soup.
on.
I don't know what's happening.
It's okay, neither do any of us.
Aster is
That's-
about to make a risky play to try to bring Aki out of there.
Yeah. Aster is about to try and use protection from energy to try and protect Aki's cause from outside influence.
Excuse me.
Because this is why I should not play casters.
Yes.
Aster is essentially trying to magic defibrillate this bitch.
Hope it
Not
works.
defibrillate, but also at the same time, spiritual detox.
I don't think any of you know what defibrillators do.
Yeah,
No.
Defibrillators actually put an electrical impulse into you, so you're anti-defibrillating
It's-
them.
Defibrillators do a lot of things. I
Yeah.
won't talk about them now.
It's fine.
So are you casting it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Boy.
I hope the defibrillation goes well.
I think it is going to be. I think it's going to be against poison because I think that is the most sort of easily mapped to an external influence.
That's not an option. You'd have to cast protection from poison.
Come here.
Oh, I thought the protection from energy covered poison. My bad.
No.
Just element, I think. Like elements and
Mhm.
stuff. Oh, you're just gonna
Um,
lay down, huh?
Okay, so the next step from that I think is actually
No, you can't have that.
the one that rings most true to external something I think is thunder.
Okay. Aster
because this
reaches
one's either
out.
thunder or lightning.
Aster reaches out and casts protection from energy, particularly protection from thunder.
Okay. My logic here.
No, I
is
follow
that
your
he
logic.
established- He knows how the soul connects, right?
Yeah,
Which I assume at least somewhat maps to chakra.
somewhat.
So he is trying to specifically try and
You
sort of
could argue-
rebuff external influences for at least a moment, and the only way I can think to do that is protection from energy because
Yeah,
nothing else he has is a good idea.
I think you've been arguing this for like 20 minutes.
Not intentionally. Sorry.
It's okay. You reach out and you cast protection from energy, particularly lightning. You feel it hit. Nothing happens.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I didn't have a way to do what I was thinking. No, I'm not gonna argue more bullshit. We can jump to oppose. I'm like, but it wouldn't work because they're already kind of under. And then
They're already unconscious. What would gentle repose do?
Mm.
I know that would make it worse. That would make
Yeah.
it worse. I just hit that, babe. I am actually.
Okay.
Yeah, since I'm doing random bullshit, I'm gonna cast create and destroy water on. I'm kidding.
Julius cast Toll the
Oh.
Dead. No, I'm kidding. God, he has
Listen,
nothing
Aster
that
is
could
also
help.
trying to do this in a way that isn't gonna kill this poor person.
I'm trying.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm looking through all my stuff to see if I can do anything either.
Yeah. I mean,
But I can punch
okay, I think
them.
that it was. I'd have to be
Do
going
you,
too
do you
vague for
offer that
to
out
do.
loud, Nagi?
No.
Okay.
He is gonna look at Nagi, and I mean, honestly, whatever it was you did seemed to have the most. And I don't think revival magic's gonna do anything because the soul is there. It is present.
Yeah, we already tried that.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose I could try poking at their chakras a little more.
Maybe it's something that because we're still here for what, a week?
Yeah. About 8 days, I'd say.
Maybe it might be better as a gradual thing.
Alex is there, right?
He is.
Yeah.
Alex is
Yeah.
there. Yeah, Alex is
Al-
there the whole time.
Alex is confused and vibing and thinking about his spells and thinking, I am incredibly underqualified for whatever the hell is going on here.
Mikey!
Like underqualified to the point of just
He's a
fear.
war cleric, right?
Hilarity.
Yeah. He's got protection from evil and good prepared, and I think that's the only thing that could possibly be helpful, but I don't know in what way or how.
Ooh. That is a pretty
He's
interesting
also-
idea, though.
He's also got mending. I don't know what that could do, but it's also there.
Mend someone's chakras.
I don't think that's how mending the spell works,
Yeah.
but it would be funny.
So, I have a question. Are you like a... Were we told if Nagi was like a monk or something like that? I can't remember.
I think Nagi said she's a monk before.
Okay.
Even if he hasn't said it, like from just
She's
her
a monk.
general, yeah, just everything you see her do, yeah.
Julius is just gonna be like, I mean, could we go talk to some monks or something? I don't think do they even fucking exist in this? Maybe there's some in this city? I don't know any personally. Maybe they would be able to tell us something about blocked chakras?
That is the fact that this is still Shinohara's house, and bringing strangers in...
No, look, I'm not talking about bringing them here, I'm talking about us
Yeah.
going to get answers. This is not a negotiable thing. We are not bringing strangers in here.
So you're talking about trying to talk to monks about basically seeing about blocked...
Exactly.
What did you call them, Nagi?
Chakras?
Blocked chakras and a way to unblock it, and then seeing if Nagi can put that into action, or one of us.
Wait, didn't Ganassi girl say something about her mom?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah,
But,
you said your
like-
mom would know more.
Yeah, I can't. The problem is, yeah, I'm currently looking for my mom. That's part of why I'm here. Because I heard Walsh, and she makes a face, is supposed to know where she is, or where she was going at least.
Hold on, Nagi.
Shinohara looks severely unimpressed by
Nagi,
this.
I just had the most brilliant idea. You said you were looking for your mother, correct?
Uh-huh.
We do have a hat of disguise and a wizard that can cast sending spells. What if you look
Oh,
for your
yeah.
mother and Granny sent message to your mother? If it's possible. I don't think she's able to do
maybe.
it today because that was spent talking to someone else. Gods, I've got to do that later tonight too. Good gods.
Okay, but Shinohara, would you be willing to allow Nagi to attempt whatever chakra thing she did again at a later point? I figure at this point consent is you and Julius, because
She looks at you again, Julius.
He gives a little bit of a nod too.
Yeah, sure, fine. Just drop me into my fucking house.
sorry. If there were a way I knew of to do it that didn't invade your privacy.
Yeah. Just... I think it's clear we're not getting anything done today.
No, we have several days to do something about it. I'm confident in these people's abilities, but I can't promise you anything, Shinohara. I'm sorry. I will try. If there's anything I can do or people I can contact myself, I will.
She kind of looks at you, and there's just kind of a long look, and then, yeah, thanks. Can you guys get out? I want breakfast.
Yeah, well.
Or lunch, or whatever it is.
Hey, Julius? Where the fuck is there an apothecary I can get headache pills?
Oh, do you want the
He's kind of rubbing the heel of his hand against.
what type do you want? The prescription type or the over the counter?
Shinohara is crossing her hands and looking at the group of you.
Come on,
Yeah,
we can talk, or we can walk as we talk.
Well, yeah, that was what he was
Ash is
basically
gonna lead.
doing. He's leading people out.
Yeah.
Making sure
Can I be
Nagi's
perfectly
there.
honest?
Yeah, Nagi's following.
Okay.
Can I be perfectly honest?
You can be honest, big man.
I don't understand anything that just happened.
Yeah.
I think I was the worst person to bring to that situation, if I'm being honest
You
again.
know, I appreciate the honesty. I brought you along because, at the very least, you know more than I do. And that's
a very low bar.
Yeah, it is.
You
I can't
do
jump very
really
far.
Have more experience with healing than I do.
What?
You do
I didn't catch
really
that,
have
sorry.
More experience with healing.
Yeah, but I don't really know anything about souls at all. Like, my my domain, I would say, is probably the opposite of souls.
I mean, from what I've seen, yes, your domain is very focused on the body, but that's not yeah, it doesn't. I don't. He kind of rubs it. Honestly, I was going by. I was going on whatever I could, whatever little bits I could piece together. As I said, I don't know energy work. I know it exists, and I know there are people who specialize in it, but I don't. But I know that whatever it was that Nagi did got the only amount of response I saw from.
Yeah, Nagi, what did you do?
Both of you in a room hurt.
I just sort of, listened to their chakras, I guess, and focused on how they flow throughout their body and tried to just, get a. I don't know. Shut up.
Would Alex be aware of what a chakra is?
Make me either a medicine or a history check.
Can Julius kind of think about it too? Because maybe he mentioned something? Okay.
Oh god, please load.
You
There we
said
go.
medicine or history?
Yes.
Oh, I've got good medicine, come on.
Oh,
Yeah!
Julius!
No.
Fuck, that's
Alex,
funny.
In your time in the Wildlands, you were sort of taught about various systems of healing and various systems of magic. What you know about chakras, and particularly the energy system, is it is a theory of the way magic and one's soul is connected to and moves throughout the body. There are 7 major anchor points. One at the top of the head, one at the third eye, one at the throat, one at the heart, one at the solar plexus, one at sort of the genital area, and then one at the root point, which is typically the feet. And these are considered like the 7 points in which your soul is connected, kind of to, and where all the energy moves up and down and through the body. It is a little contested. Some people don't think that's actually like the best model. Some people think it is.
We could go
The
to
idea-
science panels where they fight about it.
Yeah, you go to science meetings where they fight about it. Monks tend to sort of subscribe to that sort of ideology, or not the ideology, but that kind of modeling. And the idea of your soul getting blocked at a chakra is bad news.
Alex nods along like he's pretending to understand, but he actually does understand. He's just not very good at conveying the body language.
Yeah.
Yeah, chakras.
Yeah, something fucky is going on there.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I only know what they are and not how they work. Yeah, I got nothing for constructive help. I'm glad what you did help, though.
I've gotten not talked about, but read theory for days about how the soul connects, and I don't think that helps with actually fixing.
Yeah, Aster chakra theory is one of thousands of theories that you've had thrown at you.
Yeah.
Whereas probably just another way to interact with the weave and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It is a very effective model for certain types of work, but it is not the sole model, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even in Asian cultures, not everyone does the chakra map and things. So.
Yeah. It just happens to work really well with martial arts.
Yes. So, you all make it back to Julius's house and to the rest of the party. I'm so sorry you all were muted for so fucking long.
You're good.
Yeah, I'm sorry that went on as long as it did.
I've been trying to get them back to the house for the past half an hour.
Yep.
Absorbing the lore. Hashtag.
We're
It's
just
not
causing
your
trouble
fault.
in chat. It's fine.
It's not your fault at all. I was just like, ah!
Shove out of Shinohara's house. Get out!
We're just chilling. Granny fully did like gather up Nin and Ix and have them sit next to her and listen to scrapbook talk for 2 purposes. 1, because she wanted to talk about her scrapbook, but 2, and most importantly, so that they wouldn't fuck shit up in Julius's house while Julius was away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nin
Meanwhile,
is
Ix and Nin are sat there.
enthralled.
Meanwhile, Snowball is off just kind of like, pooping in closets and shredding the bed linens and the curtains and everything.
Oh my
It's
god.
true.
Snowball is off committing crimes.
Julius
Julius
does
is
not need supervision.
Julius
So
is going to be taking note of everything that Snowball has damaged and making a list so Granny has to pay for it later.
I think
move, bro.
Julius needs to make a perception check or an investigation check to find all of that, because cats are masters at pooping in corners where nobody's going to find
I'm
that.
talking
I don't
mostly
think
at
Snowball can
curtains and shit.
actually poop.
Snowball cannot poop, however, she can use the time she would have spent pooping to shred more things with her claws.
Oh my god, you're gonna ruin Julius's
What
aesthetic!
am I doing?
And
Poor
go
man.
wherever potted plants are and just start whacking soil everywhere.
Starts eating the plant.
Nin and Ixalia have gotten past the point in the scrapbook where it's just Irene's sons, but like 2 Irene's grandchildren and like baby bits of her great grandchildren as well.
God.
Yeah. One of her grandchildren, you notice, is half elf, so she's quite a bit taller than everybody else in the family portrait.
Amazing.
Yeah, she sticks out a little bit like a thumb, but
PK, where does Snowball fall in the triangle?
Apartment complex, really? I find it quite simple. I think. I don't know. Parker might have a different interpretation.
No, that vibes.
I think
Are
that's
you
where
telling me
Snowball
a
sits.
shrimp ride this rice?
I would have said Snowball was down with Alex.
Based
Based on
on
what?
what?
That's also possible. Definitely the lower half of the triangle, because Snowball doesn't care if his shrimp fried that rice.
How long has Granny had Snowball?
Do you ask her about it?
Yeah.
Well, then Granny would tell you, oh, it was about, she doesn't want me to show the baby pictures, so I won't, but about
I want to see the baby pictures.
170 years ago, my kids were there, they were very young, I think, 6, 8, something like that, and they wanted a cat, and I thought, well, cats are lovely, but the thing is, cats are perfectly good pets for human children because they live the right age for that. When you get a cat when they're young, and then they live until they're grown up, and then, if they die, they die. But, the cats, not the children, dearie. I felt that, it wasn't a good choice for a gnome child because they just grow up so much slower. So all those human parents, of course we'll get the kids a cat. And I was like, well, I want a cat that would, actually live through my child's childhood, so not break their little hearts when it passed away. So I got Snowball, and she's been doing a lovely job. She's so good with children.
Can I see her baby pictures?
I don't think she's really enthused about that idea, dear.
Ninja is just making unwavering eye contact with Snowball and says, please? I really want to see them.
Power move.
Watch Nina not hear that hissing out. Watch Nina hear that hissing in her head.
No, that's out loud.
I love the idea that this happens while Snowball is like 3 rooms away.
Julius walks in. He's like, "Get your claws out of that!" No.
Nin, make a persuasion check.
God.
With advantage. Ix will give advantage if at all possible.
Ix
Do I get
also has
advantage?
puppy eyes.
Yeah, do the puppy eyes.
Oh, Lancey, you can go back to sleep, buddy. I'm sorry I
Yeah.
woke you up.
Oh, puppy eyes, and Ix has just stood behind, kind of sharpening a knife.
Oh my god.
Granny?
Don't threaten Granny.
No. Ix is not threatening Granny. Ix is
Snowball.
threatening Snowball.
Yeah.
I don't think Snowball knows fear.
Okay, so
Oh
she
my
will.
god.
I think Granny will look at Snowball and say, "All right, I'll do one of the more graceful ones. Okay, dear. All right, I'll just show them a quick peek. And it's a picture or it's a painting that looks. The shape of the cat is basically this. I don't have an actual artwork, but I do have a photograph that gets the vibe.
Yes.
So
Yes.
not quite cat shape. Like she's figuring it out.
Nin is just laughing.
She's getting there.
This is feeling like, I don't get it. That's kind of cute.
Isn't she adorable, dear? Just think she's the sweetest little thing, aren't you, dear? All right. No more pictures. I know you like to be all push for the photographs. They're not photographs. That's not what these are.
Autographs.
It's fine.
Just she likes to look a bit more graceful, but I think those ones are just so charming.
Nin says to Snowball, your secret's out. I know now.
She turns around and shows you her butthole.
Nin isn't even upset. She's won this round in her mind.
God.
Her rivalry against a cat.
Fucking. Oh my god.
I think it's at this moment the rest of everyone comes in.
Hello,
Why did I
dear.
hear the demonic yowling from outside?
Yeah. What the hell?
Oh,
was that?
Snowball's just stretching.
Oh,
That's-
good for her.
Oh god. My drapes.
Oh no!
He's gonna go rush over
Serious?
and look at them.
Oh no!
Granny?
Did you make the investigation check, Ren?
Well, I probably
No,
can.
those are obvious.
Those ones are very obvious.
Okay.
Those
Yeah,
drapes are obvious.
Drapes are obvious. It's some of the other stuff that's not as much.
Granny will reach over sort of casually behind her and do a mending because she's used to cleaning this sort of thing up after Snowball. This is like par for the course for her. Drapes are perfectly fine.
Yeah, Julius, as you watch, they mend themselves back up.
Sorry for the
They
trouble,
just
dear.
stick themselves
He
back
looks
together.
at them for like a moment and then looks back at you, and just, he sighs a little bit and he's like, if there's any more extensive damage, I will have to have you pay a damage deposit for this.
What are you, a
Very
hotel?
expensive. What?
I said, what are you, a hotel?
This is my fucking
worse.
house!
Are
Oh,
you a
don't you worry, dear.
landlord?
Snowball sharpens her claws, but it's nothing that I can't take care of. I mean, I've been dealing with it for 170 years.
It's better than getting anyone legally involved. For damages.
Would you call the cops on the cat for destroying your drapes, dear?
Not cops.
God.
Never cops.
Julius is as bad as a landlord. Ugh.
I do
Assholes
own
just
land.
listening to this, and you watch him just slightly losing it in the back.
Look, I'd never call a cop on you, Granny, but I would call someone else. Just saying. If the extent of damage is a lot.
Who would you call, dear?
You're
He's just
threatening
silent.
Granny?
He's just silent.
Well, in any case, dear, I just wanted to tell you when you got back that I rested up so I could cast one more difficult spell to contact your mother again, like I did 3 times today, if you'd like.
Oh no!
Oh, wow!
I thought you couldn't do that.
Well,
I thought you were done for
I
the
thought
day.
I'd go the extra mile for you, dear.
Wow!
Oh no!
He thinks about it for a moment and just, hangs his head just a little bit, and he says, I'll go make some tea.
Nagi will
He's gonna
pat
go make
Julius
some
on the
tea for
back and
Granny.
be like,
I would love
Nagi will
some
pat
tea.
Julius on the back and be like, you're kind of a dick, huh?
Born and raised. God. He's gonna go make the fucking tea for Granny.
Granny is very appreciative.
Fucking savage, PK.
That guilt trip was beautiful.
So, alright, it is about noon. You have approximately 6 hours until you're supposed to meet Ravetta at the Marble Fountain.
Astra is gonna want to swing by the temple.
Who's all going with Aster?
Nagi will, but also Nagi will have the as soon as someone suggested putting on the hat of disguise to show what Ayase looks like. She put the hat on, so she's taking some time to attune to it as she's exploring. God, that baby cat has such round eyes.
But yeah, Julius will make Granny some tea so she can do a spell.
Granny very much appreciates it. She thanks him excessively, like kind of like one more thank you than is really warranted.
Like laying it on thick, right?
Yeah.
Julius
You just
is
let me
gonna
know if there's anything I can do for you, dear. You've been such a marvelous host.
Julius is gonna sigh a little bit and just say, "Look, I don't mean any harm by it. It's just what I say to all of my guests, and I hadn't said it to you yet, so."
Well, of course, dear. I totally understand.
No hard feelings.
No, of course not.
I love Granny so much.
Really, dear. I'd forgotten. I'd meant to be giving this to you. I bought it in Joxenum, actually, and I was walking through the market, and I saw it, and it just made me think of you for whatever reason. And she's going to reach into her bag, and she's going to pull out the little carved lucky cat that she bought as a souvenir in Joxenum and hand it to him and say, just, little extra luck for tonight. I know it's going to be a big moment.
Oh, it's making it worse.
Thanks. he kind of like looks at it a little bit. What is it? Just like, is it the type that like actually has the paw that moves, or is it just the
Yeah.
carved?
It moves.
Oh,
I know it's a silly little thing, but I don't know. I saw it and I thought of you, and Snowball said I should get it, so I did.
wonderful.
Snowball
thank you.
certainly did say that, didn't she?
Totally.
He'll just kind of like he's gonna go put it probably by oh boy, where would he put it? Probably near the entryway. He'll find a better place for it later.
So we have a team going to the temple. Who's all going to the temple?
Sound like
Nin.
Aster so far? Nin too?
Nagi will.
So
Alex.
Nin, Nagi, and Aster, and Alex.
And Nagi, and
Nin, Nagi, Aster, Alex. Anyone else want to go to the temple? Okay.
When is Julius supposed to be meeting Roberta?
Just
We're
after
doing-
sunset.
Yeah, just after sunset. Is Ix going to cause some trouble?
No, Ix is going to make sure that nobody screws over Julius because that's officially now their job.
Oh god.
Good for them. So is Ix also heading out to make sure that?
Case
No,
the place.
Ix is staying as Ixalia and is just kind of following Julius if Julius is allowing people to follow them. Otherwise, no, they'll be a bit more stealthy about it.
There's still about 5 or 6 hours before the meeting time.
Mhm.
Well,
And a
that's
team-
fine.
There's a team of 4 who are wanting to go to see the temple first.
Julius
No,
can't
Ix
really
will
do
chill
that,
out at the house then.
unfortunately.
No, actually, you know what? Granny will go with that squad.
That's probably smart.
I was just thinking about it. No, Granny should go in that.
With all those people, yeah.
Because I was thinking of all the bad choices Nin could make.
No,
They're
Granny's
all
going with. Granny's
they're-
going with.
Actually, so they're all going to the, are they going to the,
Temple public access
Lede-
areas of the temple
the Lede?
because Asta
The
wants,
Lede.
yeah, the Lede, because Asta wants to try and get a vibe check on what people think of Walsh's.
damn it, Julius really wants to go. I think Man might go, but disguised. Not with the
If
hat.
everybody's going, Ix isn't staying at home alone.
Yeah,
So the whole
Really?
team going to the temple.
I think
I feel
This is a
like
bad
Ix could get-
idea, you guys.
Ix could get into a lot of trouble on, like, with no one to watch her. Like,
This
Are
is
you-
a bad idea, you guys.
I mean, okay. Julius wouldn't leave her in the house alone. So, if Ix is staying at his house, he will stay at home. But he will mention that he possibly wants to go along with the rest of them. Disguised.
Is that the best choice at the moment, dear?
Probably not, but
We could go in 2 smaller groups if you think one big group would be too many. I'm happy to. I'm gonna stay here on my own. That's kind of creepy.
I know, of course.
I know.
dear.
Like, we could all pretend to be a group of tourists.
I mean, you guys are tourists.
I am a tourist, yes.
Yeah.
I'm a tourist everywhere I go.
Just before the festival.
Hey, Parker.
Yeah.
Would Nagi know what Lede looks like? Or what people think Lede looks like?
You all saw the statue out
Okay.
front of the Lede temple.
Okay,
um,
good to know.
So Lede, as typically presented, is sort of elven, kind of ambiguously female.
Like female but not committed to the role, right?
Yeah.
Like
Female but not committed. Long, sort of beautiful, youngish face. Long, dark hair. Typically cloaked in one way or another.
okay, good to know.
Mhm.
Jasper, what are you
Um,
doing?
So is everyone going then to the temple, or
I
It
think
seems like
everyone's going.
It sounds like everyone is going.
Yeah.
when we get to the beige wall, Nagi will say, "Hey guys, hold up for 1 second," and she might commit a little blasphemy, and she's going to using smold earth because it says you can mold dirt or stone. She's gonna just barely shape the surface of the stone to have like a visage. The really boring beige wall to have a visage of Lede to see if and
Yeah.
try and see, to just try and mess with people and make people think it's a miracle or something.
Astra's gonna see if the little flower is still there, if it's been added to.
The little flower is there, and you can make this little face show up in the stone wall just fine.
Okay.
Question, Parker. How long
Mhm.
of a trek is it from Lede Temple to Julius's house?
By foot, half an hour.
Okay.
Oh, so would I be attuned to the hat by then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Julius probably would have also, once he got out of Glass Park, he would have put up Disguise Self and then done the extended sorcery thing to give it an extra hour. So,
Mhm.
he's got like an hour and a half on that.
Alright. What are you disguising yourself as, Julius?
That general kind of human man that he had been before. He's gonna keep his gold eyes, but not the black sclera, so just the gold color.
Yes, his human man form. Hugh man.
Q-Man Lector Amaranth.
Lecter.
Lecter.
Mr. Human.
Mr. Human.
So
is he definitive we're going by Lecter on this trip?
Yeah, did he give us a fake name to call him while we're over there, or are we just gonna call him Julius?
Just go for Lecter for now. I don't want them to kind of put things together. They wouldn't have even known if I was a Julius anyways. They know me by a different name.
Well, Lecter works.
I'm sure they know the Julius, though.
Julius, the Julius.
I don't look like the Julius right now. And he kind of like gestures to himself.
The Julius.
Also, Lector is fun to say.
I know you give me
Lecter.
Come on.
Yeah, it's
all
fun
the
to
kitty
say, isn't it?
photos.
Is there fucking?
Over here so that I can.
Oh, buddy.
Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
Hello, Rogue.
Mr. Baby.
Jasper
Hello,
cat.
Rogue.
Hold on, I'm gonna try to scoop Jasper.
Get a Jasper. Let's get a double cat stream in this bitch.
Hold on.
Let's get all the
Another
cats here.
Sleepy boy. He just.
Sleepy boy.
Aw, sleepy little man.
Oh my
I can't reach him, but he's there.
I mean,
oh no.
I had my
He's
nieces
so
crawling around this
close.
afternoon pretending to be cats. Does that count?
Yes, it counts.
No.
Oh, he's doing little biscuits.
Biscuits.
She's escaping.
Oh my god.
I have a Catboy Memberovia game. Does that count?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Cat boy.
Catboy, beloved. He still doesn't have a name. I might just name him Brian because it's funny.
God.
Brian, my
Catboy, affectionate.
Brian is objectively the funniest thing.
It is. Look at Lance's little paw.
Yeah. Oh,
Great.
Oh, he removed it.
Oh my goodness.
Look
Shy.
at him lay down. Oh. Are you hiding your face?
Oh, he's shy.
So you all
Hey.
start to approach the temple. And you have to kind of curl around the beige wall, but then it opens up into that open field where the statue is sort of standing in front of. But you kind of cut past that and into the little pathed walkway that leads under the first little red gate. I cannot remember what they are called in Japanese right now, but they're like the red ones with the.
Shoji
Oh, yeah.
gates or something like that.
Yes, thank you. Jasper.
Oh my god, Jasper.
Baby, look at that Tumby.
Tumby.
Everyone spam harass her in the chat.
Harass. Oh my god, look at
Oh
her.
no. She cannot escape.
She's like, I want
We
to
must see her
I
face.
will not let her escape.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, no.
No.
So the trail up to the temple is on a slight incline, and you go under another one of the gates as well until you reach the flat plane in which the temple sort of rests on. Most of this area is sort of open and lush. There are these tall trees sort of lining the courtyards. They seem to be fruiting right now, actually. They seem to be pear trees. Little Japanese pears that are coming into blossom.
Are they edible?
They're not quite ripe yet, but
Oh.
uh,
It's gonna take a couple of days.
they're underripe and disgusting. But okay.
Is Nin trying to do
It's the
that?
principle. Yeah.
Julius is gonna reach out and kind of smack your hand a little bit.
She's got mage hand.
Don't do that. Leave them alone.
Why?
They're not supposed to be eaten yet. Or messed with.
But
it's
they're
not-
right there.
They are, but you shouldn't take them.
Fine.
These help. Would Julius assume that these are probably used to like help feed some of the kids too?
Yes, these are typically when they are ripe, picked and either used to supplement the diets of the orphanage kids and or some of the soup kitchen that the temple works. But they are far from ripe right now, and will not be included until much later in the summer.
Julius will mention that to Nin.
Oh. Okay. That makes sense then.
We can buy you some pears afterward. There's lots of really good smelling street foods around here.
I don't really want them. I just wanted to steal them. But if they're for
No,
like
that's
orphans
fair.
and stuff, then
Look, we can
Yeah.
For like orphans and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's never fun stealing from orphans and stuff.
Julius will kind of give a little bit of a sigh and just say, you know what? If we get out of here nicely, we'll pick one nice one and we'll save the seed of it.
no, it's okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
I can make an exception for you, you know.
No.
Alright.
The pathway is very well kept cobblestone. There's almost even in the way that the stones are laid, the colorings of some of the stones etch out sort of a mural pattern on the floor. It looks like the heads of two dragons sort of coming up and tangling with each other. On your left is the hand washing pool, which all of you would know to stop off at and wash your hands before you continue any further into the temple. And on your up in front of you is what looks like the large worship building in front, and then to your right and sort of tucked back a little bit behind the hand washing pool, but separate from the worship building, Julius, you would know, is the admin complex. This is where most of the sort of acolytes and priests of the temple live and eat and work when they are not directly in the worship hall, as well as where the orphanage is. There are a couple of other buildings scattered about. Julius, you would know most of these are storage sheds or smaller individual worship centers that are more private. The main worship hall's doors are open. It is mid-afternoon. It is open worship right now. But if you're looking...
Oh, I was just gonna say, does anything seem off to him? Like, the vibes?
It's quieter than you remember.
Okay.
There aren't as many children out playing on the lawn, and the ones that are a bit more quieter and well kept.
Julius is just gonna mutter a little bit. It's quiet.
But it's not supposed to be.
Not nearly this much. Or at least it wasn't when I was here.
How does it compare to like over the last 20 years? Because Granny's been more recently than Julius. Like,
this is usual for the way it's been the last maybe 5 or so years. It has definitely gotten quieter. It's definitely gotten more closed off. There just haven't been as many visitors to the temple. Like, Julius, you can tell, like, there's not a lot of people here besides you guys that aren't in some way in religious attire or otherwise demarcated as living on temple grounds.
So it's become a space that's hostile to.
Yes, but I would say without even like direct proclamation.
Yeah.
Irene and Julius. It's not like anyone ever came down and said you're not allowed in the temple area anymore. It's just that people.
it just has bad vibes
the
now.
vibes have just changed too.
The vibes are off. Who's gonna hang out in the temple if the vibes are off?
It's like that difference between hanging out in like an empty like stage room versus like having a bunch of the cast there. It just feels weird to be there by yourself.
Yeah. In fact, I think Asta kind of makes a comment on Doris Roth of, this is the kind of atmosphere I'd expect from my places of worship, not?
Well, it didn't used to be like this. And it shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't. My thought is that I want to have a talk to maybe some of the younger ones. Or either someone young enough to only recently have been initiated, or someone who is old enough to have been there since before.
Maybe we should start on the inside, and then if the children are still out, maybe. But I have a feeling that if they're
Start
out,
in the public worship.
if they're out and doing their own business, it might be best to leave them be. Who knows what?
No, but
Could they get in trouble for talking to us?
Considering how demure the ones are that are sitting over there, yeah. I would assume so. But that's just me making assumptions. Could be making an ass of myself.
well, it's good to see that the path at least isn't beige.
Sure he would have tried to fucking paint that next week. Anyways. Let's head inside.
So you head in. So the actual worship hall itself is. Julius still seems to be relatively untouched by these changes, at least from the outside. There is still that sort of very beautiful terracotta walls with the dark wood sort of stained accent marks, and there are bright splashes of paint across the terracotta. And as you walk inside, the sort of the mural paintings on the walls only grow brighter. And the tatami mats on the floor are also stained in this sort of bright coloration, almost like a tessellated mural pattern. There are a couple of worship benches set out in the normal pattern, as well as a couple of sitting cushions towards the front, as would be normal in any temple. In the front, in the very front, there is the altar. The altar space, which just behind the table is a smaller statue of Lede standing with her arms held out, similarly to the statue out in front. And on the table, it's a white marble table with a piece of blue cloth draped over it, and various offerings laid out on top of it. There seems to be that day's lunch offered out in front of it, as well as different bowls lined with different pieces of incense burned to different levels. And sort of so the main worship hall is this big rectangular building, right? And there's a smaller rectangle sort of in the center towards the back that's still open. There's no wall connecting to it, but it's just kind of like a little divot. And in that divot is where the altar is sat with the statue. And then around the walls in that little divot are just like wooden racks that line the walls that hang anything from tapestries to musical instruments to weavings. And then sort of lined around that, between that and the altar, there are just more things piled up here and there. Some of them are offerings. Some of them are Julius you would recognize as tools of worship. Some of them are like large drums that would be pulled out and played for larger worship services, but for now are sort of tucked in the back there. It's a little eclectic, but it is beautiful and organized in a way that whoever runs this area knows exactly where everything is.
He just kind of looks at it a little while.
Asta's gonna gently nod her. Is this about like it should be?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Not a lot of it's been pushed out of place that I can tell. Usually,
things have been moved around, but like not in a removed sense, but
Yeah.
like in a reorganized sense.
Exactly. That's why he's he's
in
kind of been like.
Someone else has taken over this, and their organization.
Well, he's kind of
But
just.
still is just as incoherent.
He's basically taking note of what is there and what is not, and just kind of making mental note of it, just for his own sake.
So, he's also gonna nudge. So, what's the prayer procedure here? How does prayer work for Liday?
How do?
How do prayer work for the day?
How do?
So along one of the walls in the main sort of section, there's a line of incense offered, different types, of which you can select depending on specifically what you're here for. If you're here for a prayer, if you're here for a blessing, if you're here for a specific request, there's a different type of incense sort of generalized for each. Typically you select what you want, and there is a small piece of paper that you can then write your specific wish down on, that when you take it to the main altar, you burn the incense and then put the piece of paper sort of in like a little slot box that is on the floor in front of the altar. From there, you are able to pray however you desire to pray, whether that's more of a direct, like, hi, what's up, Liday? Hey, or a more formalized, ritualized structure. That's up to you. Some people will bring offerings in the form of food or small trinkets or pieces of artwork, though that's not necessary, obviously. It's kind of typical for a lot of temples in the area, the way this is done.
He will relay that information to Aster.
Aster gives a bit of a nod and a smile, and is going to go over to the end.
Julius will follow.
Yeah. He takes one for the general prayer. And what he writes on the slip of paper, I wish for your health and for joy to be brought back to what you are.
As you do so, you see there have been a couple of acolytes kind of making themselves busy in various sections. As you write, you see one of them kind of looks over and seems to check if you need help, like if you're illiterate or something, and notices you're able to write, and then goes back to what they're doing.
He waves and gives a smile.
And smiles back and goes back to what they're doing.
Are any of the acolytes that Julius can see? Does he recognize any of them, or are they new faces?
Make a history check.
Okay. Oh, Julius, roll better today, buddy. Come on.
And yes, Asta was very careful to keep the wording vague just in case someone does read
Natural
those.
20! There we go!
Fuck yeah.
So two of them are much younger. However, one of them you do recognize. She is not the one who had been checking to see if anyone was illiterate. She seems to be busying herself much more in the area behind the statue. She seems to be sorting through things, perhaps getting ready for the festival in less than a week. Or perhaps she's just preparing for like an evening service. You don't really know. But she's back there. And she's a bit older than you remember her.
I hope so. Sorry.
You remember her name is Mayako. Technically Toda Mayako, but you would have called her Maya. She was about your age in the orphanage.
Can I get that spelling in chat, please?
She is a sort of red-skinned dragonborn. And she is wearing sort of the blue and the white of a sort of middle-ranking priestess.
He makes note of that.
At one point, one of the younger acolytes walks over. You can see they kind of have a question. She kind of talks a little bit in hushed voices. You can't really make out what she's saying. That sends them back off to do their thing.
Gotcha.
Seeing Aster setting up for a prayer, I think Nagi will also start setting up for a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she'll take one incense for a normal prayer and then get a slip of paper and just write on it, "Have you seen my mom?" And with a little doodle of her mom, as big best as she can on the little piece of paper.
No,
I love her.
Straight to the heart.
I don't know if Nagi is the best of us, but she's certainly.
I love her.
Yeah, that's what we do. And then she'll start praying.
Yeah. Asta is going to go with, I think the prayer that Asta has is, it's more sort of thorough and spoken, but it's, we're friends of Kay, and we're here to help if we can.
Julius will probably also grab some incense and some paper.
Okay. Julius, what do you write?
I'll message you what he writes.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 1 second.
The majority of you would know that even though there are all these items sort of stacked up in the main worship room, a lot of these aren't like holy items. They're much more implements or they're offerings. Like the actual deeply holy artifacts are kept in a separate building behind the worship hall, which none of you will likely be able to get access to.
Sounds like a challenge.
Julius,
No.
seduce Seduction turned on. No. Oh god. Okay, I sent you what I wanted to send.
Julius, you light your incense and you place it in one of the jars in front of you. And you kind of hold on to the piece of paper and then slip it into the box. And you breathe and you send the prayer up with the incense smoke. And just for a second, you hear what might be 2 yips like a fox.
Oh?
Nothing else.
Julius kind of makes a little bit of a face. But he's still gonna, I guess, continue to pray a little bit. And then just kind of... Inside, he's a little bit relieved, but outside, he's cringing.
None of the rest of you heard this fox, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think once Asta has done his prayer, it is very much to stand up, and I think he's going to try and seek out one of the acolytes.
Mm-hmm. Are you going for one of the 2 younger ones, or the one who obviously looks like she's in charge?
If he thinks he would be able to speak to the one who looks like she's in charge?
I mean, yeah, probably.
Yep. He's gonna try for... Because she also looks like she's old enough that she has an idea of...
You see her, she's kind of sorting through what looks like drumsticks. Which aren't like drumsticks like we think of, they're much larger sort of paddles.
They're, for... I know exactly the type of thing you're talking about.
Yeah.
I just can't remember.
The big Japanese drums.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like Asta would know the appropriate term for priestess. I just don't.
Lady or mother, or sister, depending. You could probably make a good bet for sister or mother.
Yeah. Sister, can I speak to you for a moment? He's
looks
kind
up.
of looking a bit shy and awkward, and he very much settling in the baby and the 15-year-old.
Into baby mode. Yeah, she kind of looks up and she goes, yeah, can I help you?
It's not anything big. I just... My grandma used to talk about the temple.
She glances back at where Granny is.
Yeah. And I just... I don't know, it seems different. And she showed me paintings that are...
Oh, yeah, well, she kind of pauses and looks up at you, Irene, and you can kind of see her. She kind of is looks like she's doing sort of math. We've been going through a bit of a rejuvenation period here, I would say. If you come by the festival in a couple of days, there'll be lots of pretty art that you can that around here.
Yeah, it's on our list. We were hoping to see the priestess, actually. Again, my Nana's shown lovely paintings that I just... Seeing the woman in person would be amazing.
You'll be able to see her. She leads the parade for sure. And she'll be out and about in the various parts of the week.
This is a really weird question, but I keep hearing talk about a high priest instead.
Father Walsh, yes.
She said Father Walsh, then High Priest.
I'd never heard anything about him until we came into town. Does he really insist on hallowed be thy name? Hey, he's kind of making a bit of a face like a kid.
She kind of bites her lip. It is his official form of address. However, most people don't use it. Although if you wanted to be really respectful, you should, but it's up to you.
Aster tries very hard to make sure his face does not convey, I do not intend to be respectful.
Is that your grandmother over there?
Yeah.
No. Glad you could visit the
Nice.
temple.
It seems quieter than than I was told about. I've only heard about the day. I haven't ever.
Well, welcome. The temple, the worship hall is always open to anyone who needs it.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me or either of my friends know if you, of your grandma or your family, cousins, thank you, need any help.
Cousins. Thank you. And he's going to give her a little bow and head off.
She kind of chuckles a little bit and bows back to you.
He's trying for very much slightly opinionated but overeager kid.
Mm-hmm.
It is one gnome granny, like 6 apparent cousins of this kid, and then this kid who's just like, so that high priest a bitch though, right? Like, right?
God,
He was very carefully not saying anything about that. He was trying to come across as this is confusing to what I had.
Using granny as your manipulation fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Listen,
Granny and
I
all her
told you
adopted
this was gonna
kids.
happen.
I knew it was gonna happen. You're still using
This
a grandmother as your
Very
manipulation
convincing
fuel.
teenaged 30-year-old.
You're like a CW character.
Listen,
Parker.
I'm trying to fake it because when I was 15, I was not 15. I was not.
Fair.
Mood.
So,
Yes, Sarah?
Are there, like, do the orphans wear any particular outfit that, like,
No, but most of them
Okay.
seem to have kind of a little tag somewhere in the
Okay.
sort of like greenish
Nin's just gonna kind of try and get as good a look at the tags as possible and just try to remember how they look.
There's a couple of kids outside. They seem to be playing a sort of like a jacks game on the pavement.
And how old would you say the oldest looking orphan is?
Of this group, probably 10 or 11.
Okay. But there's no, like, you know, teenaged orphans or
Not currently visible, no.
okay, but there might be.
Orphan tag.
There might be, yeah. Yeah, they're just like little pins that they have kind of clipped to the left side of their lapels. It doesn't seem to be like a name tag or anything. It mostly just seems to be like a quick identifier for like the orphan wrangler of the day. Like, being able to quickly count and identify.
Nin's just gonna kind of watch them, try to get a feel for their mannerisms. Any, like, just watching how they interact, basically, and
They're little kids.
tuck that away. Okay, so nothing unusual that would
No, but they seem to be kind of they seem to be a little unusually quiet for like a handful of like 7 to 10-year-olds playing jacks.
Okay. She's just gonna tuck that knowledge away for later.
Mhm. Because jacks is one of the oldest, most ubiquitous games on the planet.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for
It
the
used to be
fact.
played with sheep's knuckles.
Sheep's knuckles.
You know.
Pog.
No, Pogs came around much later.
God,
God.
gonna kick your butt, Jamie. Get over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
what's
what now,
Is
guys?
anyone else doing digging in the public access area? What we have?
Nagi is not. She's just taking a look around and trying to get a feel for the place and just read the feng shui of the area, I guess. Are the vibes of this place weak? Is what I'm asking.
They're actually pretty strong, but they're rancid.
Just
Okay,
the
they're
most
rancid
rancid
vibes.
vibes.
Okay.
I have a question though. Those like
Mhm.
yips Julius had heard, they were just like from up above, right? Not from like a direction
Yeah,
or
they
anything.
No, they just kind of seemed ethereal.
No, Aster was casting prestidigitation in your ear.
Yeah, totally.
They
Julius
seemed more
cast
like more of an acknowledgement rather than a.
Yeah, I figured. So, oh boy. I know you've talked about it. The light that Julius had seen before, was that
Underneath the admin building.
Okay. Oh, that makes a lot more sense because I was trying to think about because when you talked about admin building, I thought you were talking about like where the like officials were, and I'm like, huh? Didn't make sense.
No, the admin of the temple.
Okay.
They don't all live in the worship hall.
No, that makes sense. I know this. I was thinking like the like the 13 or whatever in their official business shit. I thought that was where you had been talking about, and I was like, I'm confused.
No, sorry.
No,
I
it's
did
all
lots
good.
of research on the layout of various Shinto temples, and
No.
there's always a shrine on this.
Yeah, I agree. What would Julius do? I'm trying to think. Because Mans wants to do something. He doesn't want to just be useless and just pray to Lede. He's not gonna break his cover.
Of course not.
Granny would like to do a little sketching if people are busy and talking and things.
Yeah.
So does Julius know any secret ways to get to the official building? Or not official building, the
Admin building.
Yeah.
There's no like secret entrance in and out as far as you're aware. Aster, the answer to your question would be there would likely be signups in the admin building for those either on the admin building or in the admin building for those art contests.
And when would they have opened up?
They would have opened up probably about a month ago.
Okay.
Nice. Julius would like to know if oh god, what was her name? If Toda Miyako, if she knows like any specific times that Inoue would be out and about, possibly.
Go talk to Toda then.
Yeah, you can ask her.
Yeah.
She kind of. She goes, I'm sorry, High Priestess Satoshi is a bit indisposed right now. I think the next public thing she has would probably be the start of the festival. I think that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Can Julius insight see if she's actually telling the truth on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's so pathetic. Oh my god.
Oh,
You're
that's
just
so
getting
sad.
you're getting customer service.
God. He just kind of nods a little bit. Damn it. This sucks a little bit. That's fine. Okay.
We can always come back another time.
Sneak in. Heist time. No. Julius will leave it at that. He's just curious.
Is there anywhere that Nin could sort of duck into that's maybe a little more private? Just like even just out of eye shot, like immediate eye shot.
Not really in the main worship hall. You'd have to duck outside and probably around the corner of the worship hall.
Basically anything that'd be like quick enough for her to just do a very quick disguise self.
Yeah,
Or break eye line.
you can do that.
Okay.
Make
She's
me a
gonna.
stealth check.
Okay.
I was gonna say before you spoke up is that Nagi was hovering around Nin and did want to show her something.
Okay. If you catch her before this, she'll do that.
Yeah, what do you want to show her, Nagi?
Nagi will just come to Nin. Nin.
Yeah.
Look what I can do now. And then she'll go boop and boop Nin on the nose and turn into Nin.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Right? That's how it's really freaking cool. I can turn into anyone. Watch. She doesn't have to do this, but she'll boop you again and she'll go boop and then turn into Julius. No, not Julius.
Oh no! Oh no!
Or she'll turn into Aster. She'll turn into Aster.
Oh my
That would
god.
have been a really awkward way to kick off the.
Oh yeah.
No, that would have been bad.
No, she turned into Aster.
That's so funny. 0.2 seconds, Julius shows up and then disappears.
So what you doing?
I want to go talk to the kids. I think, they're kids usually they say more things than adults do. And maybe we can get some more information out of them.
Well, let's go talk to them.
Basically, Nin just wanted to try to make herself look a little bit younger. Like maybe she's 13
Okay.
or 14 instead of like 17 or 18.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, how about we both do that?
Okay.
And yeah. And Nagi will disappear with Nin and turn into a younger Nagi.
Okay, easily done. And you come back out onto the main grass.
And yeah.
Let you play it. Nagi will, as they approach, Nagi will say, "So what you playing?"
We're playing Jax.
Can we play?
Oh.
They kind of look at you and they kind of tilt your head and they're like, "You're not one of the orphanage kids."
No, we're visiting. This place is really pretty, by the way.
One of the girls nods and goes, "Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can play. I mean, since you're not one of the older kids, you don't have to do chores or anything. So, like,
Yeah. Wait. Also, what are the jacks and things made? Are any of them made out of like some sort of earth?
bone.
Bone. Oh, okay, that's fine. Actually, could I do it with air bending? No, I'll wait. Because what I want to do is a thing that Aang does in Avatar, where he has the little it's either a piece of earth or whatever between his hands, and he just makes it to spin around like in a centrifuge. I think it's airbending that he uses that for, but I'm not sure. I want to do that, and I want.
Very early example of like he has the thing of beads and spins them and makes them spin.
Yeah, that's true. Would Nagi have beads on her or something? No.
I mean, do you have like, I don't know.
Well, she would
ball
have
bearings?
marbles or something. She would have ball bearings. She'll say like, "Hey, do you want to see something cool?"
Sure.
Nagi will pull out the ball bearings and do the Aang trick with the and then just going around in a circle, and then she'll waggle her eyebrows and she's doing it. Huh? Huh?
Their jaws like drop. That's cool.
Yeah. It's a special gift I have. But I bet I can beat you in Jax though, even without my special gifts. And she kind of grins and crosses her arms. Uh-huh.
Nuh-uh. Make me a dexterity check, the both of you.
Okay.
Oh shit.
They
Oh no! We're just beating these young children.
actually can I do that disadvantage to help you let them win?
Yeah, well actually I don't know if Nin would think to let them win, to be honest. I don't know if it would occur to her.
Yeah, no, Nin fucking cleans up.
Yeah, Nagil did it disadvantage to let them win the first time round. Never mind.
Oh no,
Never mind.
God, we're just too good at Jax.
Or just take Dexy.
Yeah.
So as one of the kids is focusing on your turn, are you asking the kids any questions?
Yeah. Trying to think.
So, do you get to see the High Priestess Inoue at all, or?
Heard she's really pretty.
One of the older boys kind of shakes his head and she goes, "No, not really. I mean,
Well,
I guess I see her like in the halls sometimes, but like that's it."
And well, what's she doing all the time? I thought like high priestesses were supposed to do all the ceremonies and all that stuff.
He shrugs. I mean, I guess all the ceremonies and stuff.
But like she's never just around?
Not really.
Well then what does she do?
Yeah, do you know if she's sick or something?
He shrugs. She lives on the floor below us.
Which floor is that?
We're on floor 2, so she's on floor 3.
Wait, floor below or floor above?
Below. And if you look at the fucking admin building, 1 story.
So, oh, I see.
She's below.
Do you guys like live in a basement or something?
They nod. There are like windows and stuff, but like we mostly live in the basement, yeah. But not like the basement.
That doesn't sound like fun.
They kind of shrug.
I mean, at least you have all this like really cool like places to explore. Do you know any like do you have any like secret places you like to go around here?
Make a persuasion check.
Yeah, it's so fun to just hide and explore.
I bet you see like all these really cool places. Oh.
And no, I could that wouldn't have an advantage, right? Because help or no?
I'll let you take it.
Oh yes.
You're a merciful God.
You're very merciful. Because that was about a 9 persuasion.
Yeah.
This is the opposite.
They all kind of look at each other and they're like, well, we're not
I'll show you my secret. I'll show you my secret Jax trick. It'll help you win every time.
One of the younger girls, like, his eyes lights up and she goes, okay, so we're not really supposed to be outside of the temple. And one of them's like, shut up! And she's like, no, I want to learn the trick! But if you go out, and hold on, I am checking the map. If you go out and you go towards the water, there's a place. There's like a little square in the harbor quarter, and there's a little alley. And if you go down the alley, there's a little door there.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's cool.
What's in the door?
It's like this really cool spooky, and one of them's like, "Shut up!" And the other one's like, "No, I'm gonna." It's like this cool, like this little basement. It's like full of all of these boxes and things. I don't know what's down there. We keep going down to explore and look when we can, but we're not really allowed outside the temple a lot.
If you want, we could explore and tell you what's up down there sometime. We're allowed, because we don't live in the temple, we could explore it, you know?
She's like, the older boy who's been telling her to shut up is like, but it's our treasure place.
Well, we won't like take anything. We just want to, we like exploring too.
We'll tell you where all the treasure is.
As long as you don't take any.
I promise. And cross my heart.
Hope to die. What's that Jack's trick, though?
Oh no.
Nin will just make something up. I don't know. She probably just got lucky, to be honest.
Yeah, some sleight of hand thing, right?
Yeah.
God.
Just gonna lie to these children.
Yeah. You're already lying to them by looking younger than you are.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Aster was after the sign-up sheets.
Yeah, Aster's gonna head to the admin building. He's probably gonna actually get either Lecter or Irene to come with him.
Julius is free.
Yeah.
I'll go with.
You walk up to the admin building, and you slide open the door, and you open up to this very small room where there's a small writing desk with someone on a sitting cushion behind it. She's dressed in the sort of acolyte robes. Seems to be one of the younger ones. She goes, "Hi, welcome to the shrine office. How can I help you?"
I was looking about sign-ups for the pottery contest during the festival.
Yeah, hold on one second. And she sort of turns, and there's like a couple of row of like what look like filing boxes behind her, and then she pulls out a couple of sheets of paper, and they're kind of tied together in the corner with a piece of string, and she flips to the back page, and there's just these lines of signatures on it, and she passes it over, and she's like, "Yeah, just sign there at the bottom." Wait, how old are you?
15.
Do you have a parent and or guardian who can sign up with you?
That'll be me.
All right. You'll need to sign your name next to his.
Also, is there anything for painting? Is it under the same thing for paintings?
Nope, there's a different one.
Could we have that one as well? What?
I heard my name. Oh, Papa Lecter.
Papa Lecter. I didn't hear that.
She pulls out another sheet of paper. This one's a little bit thicker, and she passes it to you, Julius.
Sure, Julius, take it. He'll sign. He's not gonna do Lecter for the name. He'll do Julius.
Mm-hmm. There are a couple of rules for the both. There's a couple of rules for the both of you, mostly about sizing. Like, it can't be above a certain size.
Well, actually, technically, his would be Jules instead of Julius. So, yeah, he'll sign.
It has to be crafted within the month leading up to the festival.
Oh, okay, so it's not a day of thing.
There are day ofs, and then there's also prepared.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you wanted to join the day of ones, you could just have told her that, and she would have given you the right ones.
Yeah.
These are much thinner contest lists.
Makes sense.
The paintings are more towards the beginning of the week. The Potter is towards the end of the week.
Okay.
Okay.
Takes time to
I'm trying to
dry and
decide
glaze
if
and
Aster
everything. for
signs it with
pottery.
Ashley Vaughn or if he gives a Mortulassian name.
It doesn't matter. You can just let me know later.
Yeah, I'll let you know because I'm kind of percolating.
Mhm.
I think he would have given a Mortulassian name, so I don't have it yet.
Mhm.
Thank you for signing up. We can't wait to see your submissions.
Appreciate it.
Is there anything else I can help you with while you're here?
He's gonna look at
You know, I was curious. Ago there was somebody I knew that used to work here. Do you happen to know if a Rivetta still works for the temple here?
Yeah, I think so. She's on cleaning staff.
Alright. Do you know... Is she on duty now?
I can't tell you that, sir. I'm sorry.
Alright, that's fair.
It seems the law.
Julius realizing that's creepy as shit.
yeah.
Alright, thank you for your time. I don't think there's anything else I needed here, so...
Thank you. Come again if you need
He's
anything.
gonna give a small bow and
She waves you out and then gets back to whatever she was working on.
As they leave, Julius just sighs a little bit and he's like, well, that answers one question.
honestly, I hate to say it, but it makes more sense. It keeps her close enough that Walsh can still use her threat, but she doesn't have the influence she did as Inoi's handmaiden.
I'm gonna have to bounce out, folks.
Take care.
Don't bounce too high.
Good
Night, folks. Oh, there's
Night.
absolutely no chance of me bouncing that high from after today. So,
Thank you for
see
joining
you later,
us.
folks.
Get your rest.
Bye.
Sleep well.
Anyone else want to do anything on this temple?
No.
No.
Yeah, I think that.
I just knocked my box of pasta off my desk.
Oh no. Julius would approach Granny though.
Would he now?
Yes, and he's just going to kind of like talk quietly to her and just say, so Rivetta apparently is still working for the temple. This time though as cleaning staff. Could
That's
you
good to know.
use your last sending to say that we're here? Or at least let her know that we can talk in person if she's able to be free? Or free up some time?
Is that really what you want to do right now?
It might answer some questions she has, and then we can talk at another time.
Let's go for a little walk, dearie, shall we?
He'll hold out his arm for her.
She reaches up to take.
Meanwhile, in the background of them talking, Baby Nin and Baby Nagi are running around.
God.
All right, dear. And this is obviously all very hushed and calm. The whole purpose of setting up a meeting somewhere in private was because you need to be able to show her your face for her to believe who you are. If we tell her now, oh, hello, you can come meet us now. First of all, that's changing what we'd agreed upon, and I can't send follow-up messages to argue a point, and you can't show your face here, dear. Or you could, but it would be exceptionally ill-advised. And I know. And if, God forbid, if somehow this is all going to go terribly wrong, it will be a lot easier if it goes terribly wrong somewhere, not in the middle of the temple. I know you want to see her. I know. I understand. And I'm sure she wants to see you too.
Look, it's not just that. I just want her to not feel... like we're going to backstab her. I want her to know that it's actually...
But how are you going to prove that to her by meeting her now, dear? And if anything, it draws more attention to her asking to meet now. It could put her in more danger this way. She agreed to the other meeting. If she hadn't, then perhaps we could have come up with an alternate solution. But she did agree to the meeting this evening. And I know you want her to feel safe. Perhaps approaching her in her workplace, where you can't reveal yourself or prove that it's you in any way, is not the best way to do that, dear.
Yeah, I know.
I'm still happy to send her another message, but I don't think we should do it while we're here, and I don't think we should propose changing the plan.
I know it's a fucking stupid idea, but still.
I know, dear, I know. It's... You wanted to see your mother. There's no harm in that. Are you ready to go then, if we're not doing this?
When she says you wanted to see your mother, he just kind of stops walking. And just, like, stares off in the distance.
She squeezes his hand with both of hers.
Irene, this has been very hard.
I know, dear.
I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah. Yes. But this is a step in the right direction.
I hope I just don't fall off a fucking cliff.
Well, I don't see any cliffs around, but if you're really concerned, I do have Featherfall prepared, so you'll be all right.
He gives your arm a bit of a squeeze.
I love Granny so much.
There, dear.
Right.
Are you ready to go? Or would you like to stay a while? There's no harm either way. Although, time limit, but...
I can keep refreshing it, but, I have days. It's fine. I'll come back later.
You do. You have plenty of time, dear. If all works out, you'll have all the time in the world, but we'll get there.
Just gives your hand another little bit of a pat.
She squeezes it again.
Let's go collect the rest of them.
Yes, I do wonder what those two are up to over there. They look a little bit smaller than usual, don't they?
Did they... Oh god, Nagi has the hat of disguise.
Yes. We're going to just round them up. How about you go find the gentleman? I'll deal with our young ladies, and we can all make our way back home together.
Alright, I'll do that. Yeah.
Alright. Granny's gonna go get the young ladies.
easily done and collected. All the
Probably.
ducks in a row.
Julius, so go get the rest of them.
Ren,
think
I
I
love you,
will.
but your camera is just like awkwardly at one of your blankets.
Oh, you can't see the Lancy?
No.
Hold
I
on.
can see him now.
There we go.
There he is.
There's the Lancy.
I love
moved
him.
it so I could be more comfortable, but then you could not see the boy.
Boy.
What
and
time
the
of day
men
is
are
it?
also easily.
I will move.
What time of day is it when we're all collected?
It's been a couple of hours, so it's probably about 4 or 5 in the evening.
Oh, so we should be.
Heading.
We should be
It
wise.
is early summer, so sunset isn't for another couple of hours.
Okay.
So I'm hungry, and we got here and never really explored. How about we explore?
For food, dear.
Well, food, shops, like
Um,
weird alleyways, just anything, I guess.
Also,
All right.
Parker, before we leave,
Mhm.
Julius is gonna try and snag one of the, pears.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Just kind of snag one as he's on his way out. Let's do that.
Because he's soft.
Him
Soft.
Soft lad.
soft
Soft.
lad. Also, he thinks
He's
about
so
planting.
soft.
Sleight of hand. Come on, buddy. Oh, that's fucked. That's an 11.
Oh
You
no.
reach in and you pull one off, and there's definitely an acolyte who is out cleaning the visitation fountain who sees you do it, and you see him kind of go, whatever.
Yeah.
If Mans wants an unripened pear, Mans can have an unripened
Yeah,
pear.
yeah.
He doesn't care that much.
Not getting paid enough for this.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
just one, it's fine. Julius kind of apologizes a little bit to the tree, I'm sorry.
Julius, stop
Or-
talking to the trees.
Okay. Sure.
Oh no.
Aw.
But he'll just kind of pocket the pear for now.
You are all able to find an early dinner. The Twilight District boasts.
He's gonna detour a little bit to try and find an apothecary he can.
The Twilight District boasts just about, particularly the Twilight District, particularly around the temple and the castle, boasts just about any shop or store or restaurant or cafe you could want.
Fantastic.
Second, I think I have herbalism. So, how much would it be to buy ingredients for a? Oh no, I have alchemy supplies. Never mind. I don't have the herbalism kit. I was wrong.
Beetroot.
Want fucking
Beetroot?
blood root?
You want
Aster,
fucking bloodroot?
You want fucking bloodroot?
There's our nocturne.
Aster, you can get a bottle of over-the-counter painkillers for 3 copper.
Yeah, and something for headache relief as well.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Much appreciated. This is him trying. He's trying to be moderately, at least discreet from the party.
Mm-hmm.
I think he sort of takes a moment when someone is distracted, when the others are distracted by food or something pretty or.
The open air markets of the Twilight District also boast, there are people offering any type of service you could ever want. A lot of the food around here seems to mostly be seafood based. There's a lot of sushi.
Ooh, yeah, Nagi's all about that.
Sushi.
Because it's cheap and easy and filling, and we're right on the harbor.
Alex has had sushi, yes or no?
Yes, you've had sushi.
Yes. Crunch. That's
Nagi
the
probably
wrong sound
has-
effect. Wrong sound effect.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
no.
normally cucumber sushi. You end up with
Yeah,
That's true.
And
If your
have it
sushi
now
is
he is vegetarian.
he is vegetarian.
We probably have
Yeah.
eel on a skewer or
that was
something.
that was more. Alex has not always been vegetarian. There's some lore for it.
That's fucking funny, bro.
If your sushi is crunching, seek help.
No, but if it's got
Um,
a sizable enough piece of cucumber in it, you will get a bit of a crunch if you go into
You, if your sushi does not have cucumber in it and you're crunching, seek help.
so so Nagi is the type to poke her head into every stall in every shop. Does she find
Mhm.
anything interesting, or
Make an investigation check.
okay? Aw.
Nagi, you find so many tourist chaps with so much cheap bullshit.
Oh hell yeah! No, she probably
immediately
probably
turn
buys-
Irene into them.
she probably she'll probably go get Irene and also come back with like so in Asian countries, like particularly in like Vietnam and China, they have like weird like poisonous animals in wine.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
So she'll come back with like either a scorpion or a snake preserved in wine and be like, Julius, I got you something.
Oh my god. What is this? What did you give me? Why am I getting lots
Ta-da!
of gifts? Oh.
They said it's supposed to, I don't know, do something for your circulation.
Do I know what they would have probably said with this concoction?
It's any one of any number of quackery bullshit.
Why would I need to improve my circulation, Nagi?
I don't know, but it's like got a snake or a scorpion in wine, and it's like really cool. Look at it.
You can't tell if it's a snake or a scorpion.
Well, it's one of the two. I just haven't decided to what. It was a snake, I guess. It's a snake. It's a snake.
Thanks, Nagi.
Yeah.
It would probably do you better to like sit it up against a light source and make an interesting little shadow feature.
Yeah. You know, I think I know
Then to
exactly
fucking
where
drink
this
it.
can go, Nagi. I think it'll look lovely next to my lucky cat, actually.
Oh, poggers.
I'm not even gonna ask about that one.
Poggers is canon to it.
That's such a funny word, dear.
Oh, poggers?
Yes.
Yeah, I like it.
What does it mean, dear?
So, like, it's an exclamation of, like, you know, just something that's really cool, or it's something that you find, like, I don't know, like, something that you find, like, just awesome, or interesting, or, like, yeah.
Oh, so I could say you're so poggers, Nagi. Is that it?
I'm gonna start crying.
You can say that, Granny. You'd be very correct. I am pretty poggers, thank you.
And I'm glad to hear it, dear. That's so fun. You young people have so much fun language.
Julius is like holding
you-
onto the bottle of the snake wine, like.
Did you find anything cool? Oh yeah, how much would the snake wine have cost me? Oh, but did you find anything cool, Granny?
We broke Parker.
I think
Snake
Parker's
wine
gonna.
costs a silver.
Okay, silver. Okay.
We've emotionally destroyed Parker.
Snake wine and poggers.
It's two poggers. Or two poggers.
Granny actually probably wouldn't have bought anything at these particular shops, just because she's probably bought plenty of stuff from these particular shops in the past, and she's saving her souvenir money for some slightly nicer souvenirs. But she was very happy for Nagi to take her into one, so she could browse and do little a window shop as a treat.
As a treat.
You're able to get a light dinner. Um,
A crunchy sushi.
How much is it per
Yeah.
person?
uh, it'll be 3 silver per person.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
And as the sun starts to get lower and lower in the sky and starts to set over the Twilight District, the market doesn't quite ever die. There are some shops that close, sure, but there are other shops that open up seemingly at the same rate until by the time the sun is hitting the horizon, it is transformed from a day market into the night market. But it never seems to flag for energy. The lights on the streets are lit one by one, seemingly down the line by someone large, with a long sort of candle and a stick. Goes along down the streets and lights them each.
Hey, Parker,
Mm-hmm.
do you think Asta would possibly be able to get some small fireworks?
Oh.
Not at the age of 15.
What at the age of
Fair enough,
18?
we
Because
need to convince a different party member to buy them.
Yeah.
That
would
would
be
That should be very easy.
Yeah,
Even
you'd be
thinking
interested.
like sparklers stuff, like the
Still not at the age of 15. 18
Alex will
could-
buy him. Alex will buy him sparklers.
And Nagi will go to buy more explosive things.
Julius is gonna have to add disguise self again for another little bit, so he's gonna do first level disguise self, and then I guess this time he'll dump like 2 sorcery points in it, so it'll last for like 2 hours. So
Mhm.
I don't know if that's how extended spell works.
you can add up to 24 hours to it, I believe.
Oh,
So
okay.
each
Well, disguise self already lasts an hour, so with 2 more sorcery points, it'd be 3 hours,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and we're gonna be
Yeah.
at dinner for 2 hours.
yeah.
Yeah.
I assume he would have
Asta,
had to have
he is
done
going to ask Alex if he can get some little like poppers as well that are very colorful but don't tend to do very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
How much are
Alex will
poppers,
get them for
Parker?
him.
They would be about 5 silver for a little packet of them.
I want to. She's gonna put down like 5 gold and get like a lot of poppers.
God, all of them, all of the poppers.
That's like
See,
50
here's the
packets
thing,
of poppers,
I am
right?
something potentially wholesome. I don't know what Nagi.
We're gonna go like bow up in this shit.
I'm glad
Nice.
he's my
That's
person
10
right
packets
now.
of poppers.
Oh, okay.
That's almost enough for mischief.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's enough for mischief.
Yeah, I am planning something wholesome.
I'm sure that you are. I can't
I
relate.
know.
Oh,
What
Julie.
kind of fireworks are there? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you can ask that. Go ahead.
What kind of fireworks are there?
The ones that they will sell you on the street are like sparklers and little poppers you throw at the ground to make little pop noises and things like that.
Aw,
They're not
no
like
bottle rockets?
No, they're not going to sell you a fucking bottle rocket.
Not a Roman candle?
No.
Okay.
No.
You know what? You should probably
Okay,
go
that's
to
fine.
Yoshi for that.
That's true. She knows Yoshi. Never mind. I know. She'll just buy her poppers.
Mhm.
Julius would have asked Granny though, now that he's kind of thought about it, maybe to let his mom know that we've made a reservation under Irene.
Yeah, under Irene Marvin.
Yeah.
That is a thing that we did do. All right, let me figure out how she's gonna. Let me just type up my script real quick, and then I'll do that.
Hey, girl.
Are we just chilling right now?
I think we're just chilling.
For now.
Okay. Alex is gonna see if he can like talk to Julius for a second.
Yeah. Julius is by himself.
Okay.
Alex, after getting Aster the goodies, I guess Alex is being a terrible dad right now, or a very, very good dad, depending on whether or not you're Aster.
He's a
He's
good
being a really cool dad.
Alex had no ill intention.
Yeah, Alex is being a really cool dad right now.
Maybe not a good dad, but a cool dad.
Yeah.
Alex is being a cool dad, and and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Alex is a normal dad. He's a cool dad. Yeah, let's go. Alex is gonna, I guess, wander over to Julius
Howdy.
and hi. Hey.
Hi.
How are you doing?
You know, been better, but it's not bad. How about
yeah.
yourself?
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I just wanted to say, I'm not gonna pretend to get it fully at all. But without, like, saying too much about myself, if you want to talk about anything, there's some stuff that I might understand better than other party members, and if you want somebody to listen, I can listen. I can't promise much more than that, but
Thank you. He kind of just stares at you a little bit. And then
Alex stares back.
he kind of just thinks about it for a minute. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. 'Cause I'm guessing this is a lot. And I know sometimes you don't want people to, like, offer solutions, you just want people to listen. I guess. I don't know if you're like that, but I know I'm like that.
No, I really appreciate that, Alex. It is... I will say I didn't necessarily have somebody to listen to my things for a very long time. Long after I'd kind of made decisions about it myself. Probably when I shouldn't have done it by myself. If that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
That makes sense. It's always hard when you don't have or just can't talk about it.
Yeah. God, I told you guys my shtick the day after I told it to my best friend.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes a while of knowing someone to talk about it, you know? Because, you don't know what they'll say. You don't know how they'll react. You don't know if it'll be good or bad.
Or sometimes you just think it's not important.
Yeah.
Uh,
PK, I saw your expression when I said that.
You motherfucker.
You don't even know why he's saying that. Sorry.
He kind of just reaches out and gives you a big pat on the back.
Alex returns the pat, except he's kind of unsure of his own strength, so it's maybe a little too hard.
He like
Not like
stumbles a
enough to
little
knock
bit.
Julius over, but it's like maybe like a tiny bit too much force.
Julius doesn't seem to mind too much. He's probably used to being kind of pushed around.
Oh no!
Used to being manhandled.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Don't say that.
God.
That's
I
not
mean, half
affectionate.
the party has beat him up, so...
Oh no! Oh no!
Mostly unintentionally.
Mostly.
Mostly. But you do notice that he seems to be in, I guess not better spirits, but he does seem a little more relaxed.
Yeah. That's something. That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Alex gives him a thumbs up and wanders back over to make sure Aster hasn't been doing any crimes. Not that Aster would do crimes. Aster's probably the least likely person to do crimes in this party. But just making sure that nothing goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Aster's mostly just vibing. He has seemed to go for some. Once again, he is continuing his trend of certain clothes, pretty, and gender.
Yes, gender.
Aster's being gender?
What was
gender.
that?
Aster is being gender?
Have a gender. Or not.
He's certainly trying to find a gender that he likes the vibe of.
What gender vibe with me?
Gender.
Tasty gender.
I read through the sending that Julius asked for.
Julie ass.
Parker?
I'm here. I'm waiting for the bullshit to die.
Okay.
Did someone ask me a question?
Yeah, I did.
Sorry, I missed it.
Can I do the sending that Julius had asked for?
Oh, yeah, you can do that, yeah.
Okay. There's a reservation at the Marble Fountain under the name Irene Marvin. We'll be there. He's excited to see you, and he hopes you're safe.
Send that in chat.
Yep. Granny improvised a little bit because Julius didn't say anything beyond tell her that there's a reservation, so she free-handed it a little bit. She freestyled.
She got the vibe
Oh,
he was putting
freestyle.
down the other day. Or not the other day, literally earlier on that.
Several hours ago.
There's a pause. I see you found the place. See you all soon. Be careful. Make sure you are not watched, and that's it.
Ah, fuck.
All right. Granny's going to go to Julius and say, she says she'll see us soon. She also told us to be careful and make sure we're not watched. I wonder, dear, if it might be advisable for Nimmer, dear, to cast her invisibility on you while we're in the area, for you to get there, at least.
Alright.
Just a little more insurance than the disguise, even.
Yeah.
You know, so that there's not even a question of a person who could feasibly have been you being there.
Alright. Well, as long as it can be done over my disguised self, if that's possible. And then
Can't
once
think
we're
of why it
there-
wouldn't. I mean, you're the one focusing on your spell, and she's the one focusing on hers, so...
And when we get there, can drop the spell.
Yes.
Then, when we're sure it's safe, I can drop mine.
Perhaps have Snowball around keeping a lookout, you know. Might be smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alex is pretty tall. I think he can see good.
He can manage a lookout. little bird's eye view, perhaps.
But he is
Oh,
kind
God.
of... He does kind of stick out.
Alex?
You know.
Alex can disguise himself as well, if necessary. Alex can disguise himself up to like 3 feet lower.
That would probably help a little.
And then he hits his head on a door frame.
Oh, don't worry. Alex is very aware of every door frame and every ceiling we have encountered in the entire campaign.
Watches as a halfling suddenly ducks as if trying to avoid something while entering.
They've just got a phobia of archways.
He
They got
physically
duck.
can't get down to halfling height.
No,
He
he
could.
can't.
He can.
He can't. He's 7'10".
He can get to 4'10". That's a good foot.
Oh, okay.
4'10" is still lower than human height. It's not halfling height.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's not
human
halfling
height.
height.
It's not halfling height.
That's
And
not halfling height.
honestly,
Another foot maybe for a tall halfling.
Alice could probably he could probably take himself down like a foot and a half and still have it be like over tall, like a normal person tall.
Yeah.
He could be a dwarf.
No, that's a bad idea.
Oh.
You think Alice can pretend to be a dwarf? If I could the opposite of a dwarf.
But yeah.
He's also not stocky enough to be your general dwarf.
I have boy. Look at boy.
Yeah, so what now?
Now I think we want to head to
Go see my
Liz Denver's
mom.
dog.
Yeah.
Wookie, wookie, wookie.
If you guys had expressed concern about being followed, Nagi will offer to join like a few minutes late and just trail behind
Yeah.
and disguise and see if anyone is being a little nosy.
Yeah. And Granny would have suggested that Nin make Julius an invisible boy.
Invisible man.
Which she will never suggest again, I should be clear.
This
Would it be
is
poss-
only because it is a matter of safety.
This is a grandchildren's safety suggestion of Nin using invisibility. There are no other circumstances in which Granny would suggest Nin using invisibility.
Would it
Especially
be
not
possible?
on Julius.
Would it be possible to move from rooftop to rooftop to get a bird's eye view, Parker? Or
Making an acrobatics checks.
yeah,
By the implication that Granny is suggesting crime.
Julius will mention to Nagi though to be careful because the Black Devils might think she's fucking with them. So just to stay low.
yeah, she'll turn from a water genasi tiefling mix to something less conspicuous, like a normal human.
And if somebody tries
Also,
to go,
normal tiefling or what are you nasty?
Julius will also mention, he'll just be like, and Nagi, if anybody goes after you with a knife, run the fuck away. Don't engage them or they will think you are a threat. Just run away.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, Nagi will trail from behind on the rooftops. I got a 19 in acrobatics, and she'll just subtly, and stealth. Should I roll stealth
Actually,
too, or?
Nin will cast invisibility on Nagi as well if you want, because she can cast.
Smart.
Just to cast under level
That's
anyway.
double cast it.
Good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
might
Okay.
as well get it.
So yeah, 25 stealth then.
Nice.
Yeah, Nagi, you were able to make your way up onto the rooftops invisibly and start to make your way. It's not the easiest parkour sort of course you've ever ran.
Parkour.
There are a couple of leaps that you think might be a little far, but you manage to make them with just a little bit of a stumble.
Did I make a perception check too, or
Yeah, make a
keep an eye
perception
out?
check.
I mean,
Yeah.
19 again.
Nice.
All right.
So well.
As you move, you do spot occasionally one or two other people up on the rooftops. There's most of the people up on the rooftops seem to be sort of likely on their own buildings, tending to rooftop gardens or like in a little rooftop patio area. There are a couple who appear to be couriers, also making use of the rooftops in the same way you are, but there's not a lot. And you make your way almost completely unaccosted.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so no one was suspicious at all then.
Mm-mm.
Okay, cool.
Julius is invisible,
Should
and the
I
rest of you
roll
make your
stealth
way.
for him then? Maybe?
Yes, at advantage.
Alright. has good stealth, actually. 16. That's fucked, Julia. Seriously.
Not bad.
Fine.
It's not a bad.
It's not bad. You
Yeah.
kind of place yourself sort of next to Irene and Alex, and you kind of between, like, sandwiching yourself between the ones who are still visible. You seem to be relatively unnoticed.
Yeah, Alex. If we're heading to the cafe place, Alex does do the disguise self, and he makes himself just look like a dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Asta does say, I did say it was a family with our grandma's family, so we probably want to be.
Alex,
Well, maybe I adopted, dear. You don't know.
Alex, I picture a man. There you go.
I'm picturing him.
Picture some guy.
I'm visualing some dude.
I'm visualizing a Phil's of Minecraft right now.
Literally just Phil's of Minecraft.
I'm a bit taller.
Yep. Just a delightful man.
He's just so cute, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, do you guys immediately go inside, or do you guys stick around and wait for people to regroup, or?
So the marble fountain you see is open this late at night. They've put out a couple of lanterns hanging there. The woman at the front desk is a different woman now. Probably just changed shifts. There are one or two people at the more open tables, sort of enjoying maybe a late cup of tea or something, sort of with a couple of baked goods between them.
When we get there, Irene would have Snowball just sort of pop off her shoulders and find a spot to relax on the ground where she can survey the street both ways from near the place. Just to see when people show up.
Before we enter, Alex is also gonna, or like as we approach, Alex is definitely gonna double check from his height to see if it looks like anyone's following them, or like just watching them out of the
Okay.
ordinary.
Snowball, make me a perception check. Alex, make me a perception check.
And when
Yeah.
everyone goes inside,
There we
Nagi, well, right before everyone goes inside and after everyone goes inside, Nagi will stick around outside for a second to see if anyone reacts to, them suddenly going inside, maybe runs off to see if someone runs off or whatever, and yeah, perception check again, or?
Yeah, make me another perception check.
Yeah, ignore the persuasion. This happens every single time.
I love that Snowball rolled so low.
Snowball literally just doesn't care that much, I guess.
She's like, I don't care about Julius. He can go die in a pit.
No!
Alex, Nagi, and Snowball, roll me another one as well.
Oh.
Another?
Yeah, roll me another one.
Okay, still pretty good. Still pretty good. That's not bad.
Oh.
Could roll worse.
Okay, Snowball. Snowball cares a little.
That's a treat.
Snowball has decided that caring is gonna get more treats than not caring.
Yeah.
It's true. Irene noticed she was kind of slacking off, and she was like, "Yeah," and then she's like, "Fine."
None of you seem to notice anything out of the ordinary. There's a customer up ahead of you guys that is like ordering what looks like just kind of a roll of like some sort of baked good, and then collects them and sort of heads off.
Reservation for Marvin? Our others are going to be catching up soon.
The woman looks down at you and looks at you, Irene, looks at you, and then looks at Irene, and then Alex. And then she
Alex
checks
waits.
it. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We
Eight,
probably
right?
have. Yeah.
We're we'll have a few more trickle in. You know, we all try to meet up in advance and then scheduling, and then somebody can't get off work. You know how it is.
I understand, ma'am. I was just confirming the number.
Yes, dear. You know how it is.
She lowers the piece of paper and she leads you back behind to the right, away from the other open tables, where it seems like there are a few what looked like sort of closed off booth areas. They look like they're booth tables, but there's like a little piece of like half sheer cloth. Sheer in so much that you could probably see shadows behind them, but not like see through them. And she picks one of the bigger booths and sort of pulls the curtain back and motions you inside.
All right.
And she lets you all get settled, and she leaves you. She hands there is a small slip of paper that she passes in, and it seems just to be a list of teas.
Nice. Does Julius know what type of tea Ravetta liked?
Make a history check.
Okay.
Alex, are there any of them that look kind of like home kind of to Alex? Well, or as close to home as he could get.
Julius, she was probably a chai or an oolong. Alex, yeah, you would recognize one of them. It's not quite home. It is still a chai. It is still a chai tea, but some of the flavored ingredients come from the wildlands.
Yeah, close enough. He'll get that when tea orders happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you're going for chai, Julius will just mutter about like maybe ordering the oolong too.
After everyone has been settled down for like 5 or so minutes, and the invisibility has hopefully dropped, and she would have to disguise herself beforehand, but she would disguise herself as like a little human boy, and she'll go up to the person in the front desk and say, hi, I'm Arvin Marvin, here for the Marvin Valley Reunion.
You see the woman kind of bites her lip a little bit and kind of motions and kind of goes, okay, and like leads you back around the corner, and she kind of opens the curtain. She goes, is this one of yours?
Oh, yes.
I missed it. I missed what she fucking said.
said Arvin Marvin.
I still didn't hear it.
Arvin
Nope. Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
Marvin for the Marvin family reunion.
This is terrible.
I hate it so much.
Shaggy, I fucking love you.
What you've done here is a crime.
My beloved.
Oh,
So funny.
Now you'll take a seat and order some just oolong tea. Actually, matcha. Matcha.
She isn't quite taking orders yet.
Okay.
And you kind of sit there for a couple of minutes.
Sure do.
She doesn't reapproach. There's no offer of service yet. And you wait. And you wait. The invisibility runs out. And then there is a soft knock on the side of the booth. And the curtain opens and the hostess pulls it aside. And she goes, I believe this is your final party member? And standing there is a woman, maybe in her late 30s, early 40s. Long, slightly wavy black hair kind of pinned up in a bun, in a very plain-looking kimono. She has a little bit of a scar notched on her bottom lip. and she very much looks like she's been a servant for a long time. Julius, you recognize this woman instantly.
Also,
This is Rivetta.
her hair is blonde, by the way.
Blonde hair, sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
Before we
Incredible.
do let her in, After is gonna very quickly flick detect magic and make sure that this isn't like illusion covered.
Mm-hmm. You flick up a detect magic, and she seems normal.
Okay.
She does seem to have, there is a little bit of something glowing, sort of tucked away beneath her right sort of breast lapel. It seems to be divination, though. Divination.
Julius is gonna stand.
Can I identify roughly how powerful it is, or just that it's divination?
Let me actually check something real quick.
Because if this is like arcane eye or something, we do not want.
Or perhaps it's protection from scrying, maybe? I don't know.
Well, you wouldn't be able to see Arcane Eye anyway because it's invisible. You don't need to see invisibility for that.
No, but
it's detect magic.
Yeah.
Detect magic doesn't reveal invisible objects because you have to see it in order to detect it.
Mm-hmm. I lied. It is an abjuration magic.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna be a lot
better.
more calm if it is
That's
abjuration.
a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Listen, my brain. I was like, at first, I was like, this sounds like, I remember this being divination, and I was like, wait, no, that doesn't quite sound right, and so I checked it. It is abjuration.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Auntie.
Hello,
Hi.
dear.
The woman, the worker, kind of looks at Rivetta, and Rivetta kind of nods, and she slips into the booth. I think she positions herself on the edge seat.
Yeah, no, that's
fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the curtain drops. Before the curtain drops, the woman goes, do we have any tea orders? Anything?
Alex will order the tea.
Matcha, please.
Julius will.
The same chai as. And he points at Alex.
Alex points what?
The same chai as, and he motions to Alex.
Okay. I just heard he points at Alex and was very confused.
Oolong,
I want cowman.
Julius is he's still looking at Rivetta, but he says oolong.
Also, can I insight check Rivetta's reaction to seeing Julius? See what kind of
He's
emotion.
still disguised. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought that that all dropped.
I think we're dropping the disguise once we're sure that
Yeah.
we're not gonna get
because he spent
walked in
like
by.
he's got like
Now hold that.
yeah
then.
he's got like another half hour left on it.
So yeah.
Actually, no. I wanted to. See, I want to see if I sensed any duplicity about her. Actually.
You can roll an insight check.
26.
I'm gonna roll something for her.
Yeah.
I hope that's fair.
Yeah. No. Go ahead.
Fair and reasonable.
She seems guarded.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Not inherently duplicitous yet, but very much holding her cards to her chest.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So she isn't like, oh, I'm secretly a bait to get you guys. Okay, cool. As long as she doesn't seem like a trap, then I'm good at that.
As you all finish the order, she goes, and then I'll share. And could you possibly get an order of the tarts, please? Pear, I'll take a strawberry too. Anyone else have any flavor orders?
Strawberry for me is fine, dear.
I prefer the pear myself.
Does Alex understand tarts?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what kinds of food he's encountered. I'm sorry for asking all the time.
It's okay. You understand what a tart is, and you know that there's fruit in it.
Has he? Probably hasn't had one.
No.
Strawberry.
Strawberry.
Tends to have a
Julius.
very mild flavor. Strawberry very sweet.
No. Alex is processing this internally, listens to the way Strawberry gets said, and kind of points and says, that one as well. He's not sure if Strawberry is the same as strawberry, but...
I love one cow man with my whole heart.
Rivetta counts the fruit orders and gives them to the waitress, and the waitress goes, "It'll be 5-10 minutes." And Rivetta goes, "That's fine." And the curtain drops.
Strawberry.
And she turns and she looks over all of you.
Well, we have about 10 minutes. Do we think this is a good moment?
Does it seem kind of quiet out there?
Looking at Julius.
Yeah, can I make a perception check to see if everything's quiet and copacetic out there? Like no one.
Make a perception check.
Is Snowball still outside the room as
I
well?
left her outside, yeah. With
Okay.
She can make me another perception check as well.
I will have her do that.
One comment about make sure you aren't watched and to
Yeah.
And a very serious voice, so Nagi will say, "Were you followed?"
Oh,
She
God.
narrows her eyes at you.
Okay.
That's not a great way to ask that.
That'd be nice.
Honestly, I'm a bit parched and I'd like my tea first.
Okay. He just drops the act immediately.
once the tea has arrived, we'll explain as much as we can.
I hope you will.
Also, we don't hear anything, right?
No, you don't hear anything. There's
Okay.
like a couple of sounds of like people passing on the street outside, but like that's mostly from Snowball's perspective.
Yeah. Nagi will communicate that we're good.
Mhm. You can kind of hear shuffling from behind like a paper wall, probably the kitchen area. 5-10 minutes comes by, and the waitress comes back, and she sort of knocks again, and Rivetta goes, "It's all right." And the curtain opens, and she's kind of balancing like a plate. There's a couple of teapots that she puts down on the table, and she puts down a tart in front of each one of you, depending on your fruit choices.
Julius with the pear.
Yeah.
And as the waitress starts to pass out these sort of like tea dishes, Miss B, Rivetta picks up one of the tarts and breaks it in her hand, and she kind of motions it as like a sort of like a toast symbol.
Sure.
Yeah.
Takes a bite.
Alex copies what everyone else is doing.
Sure.
And she'll take a bite.
Yeah. Nagi will take a
Yeah,
bite.
that's the well as well.
Alex, well,
Let me see.
We all die immediately. We take 19 points of damage.
Yeah. Do we gotta make a save now, or?
Does it
You
smell
all do need
weird?
to make me a wisdom save.
a wisdom
Are you
save.
fucking kidding me?
A wisdom save.
No,
Roll
I
it.
didn't
Seriously?
bite. No, hey, I didn't bite it. I did
Yeah!
say this. I did.
Yeah!
I did not eat it. I was gonna
Nope.
have Julia sniff the tart first.
Make a perception check.
Okay, hold on. Oh, now I'm
21.
fucking-
21. I hope to God that's enough. Come on.
Oh no!
I would hope.
We're either rolling really high or really low.
Julius, it seems normal.
Still weirded out by the way she's acting, but he's gonna start taking a bite.
Wait.
Roll me a percent save.
Buddy, you're gonna fuck this up, aren't you?
Well, at least you have the thingy.
I do have
Oh,
a thingy.
16.
It's a 16, but let me
There's a moment, and you all, as you kind of bite into it, you feel there's this burst of magic in your mouth. And you all feel, I would say, Aster and Julius recognize what this spell feels like. It feels like
Question: If
Okay.
does Aster still have a detect magic going?
yes.
I feel no. What was the what was
Would he have been able to
spell
see?
called?
No, he wouldn't have because it was over 10. It was over 10 minutes. Zone of
Okay.
truth.
Yeah,
so
Zone of
what did
Oh.
what could we tell about it?
Zone of
It-
truth.
It's zone of truth.
Oh, okay.
What was the DC for it?
And the waitress kind of paused for a second, and then she starts to hand out the teacups. Nagi's, yours gets placed upwards. Alex's down. Nin up. Irene up. Aster up. Julius down. Nivetta's up. And Julius
So
is
it's
up.
so it's a signal for who passed.
Oh, I like this. I like this fucking waitress, y'all. This is my new
Yeah.
favorite NPC,
Oh.
motherfuckers.
Oh my
I don't know who she is, but I'm in love.
Is
Give her
my
a nod
fucking mom
and,
involved with the Black Devils?
No, it's fine.
Oh,
It's fine.
Aster's going to give her a nod and thank you. They're very. We appreciate it. How much would he estimate is an appropriate tip for?
You probably won't be able to estimate that till the end of the night.
Alex
Well, an
is-
appropriate tip for this particular course.
Alex is staring a hole into this waitress.
yeah.
Like, he is not being subtle about it.
Also, I missed a pattern. Did Nagi pass or fail?
Nagi passed.
Okay, cool.
No, Nagi failed. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
14.
Oh, cool. So Julius didn't fail. We're good. Cool.
Yeah.
Wait, no, okay,
Basically,
no.
only Nagi and Nin failed.
Okay.
No, Nagi, Nin, Julius
Oh. Okay.
all
Oh.
failed. It was a DC 17.
Well.
Oh.
Oh. That's
Oh.
neat, actually.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Spicy.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a hide and
Okay.
seek.
Okay.
It's
All
an
right.
appropriate tip for this kind of course, for this particular course.
Oh, Pog.
Oh, it would be at least a handful of gold.
Astra is going to hand over.
She pockets
he
it.
is going to hand over coins. He can respect discretion and he can respect.
Mhm.
Alex is not being discreet in how much he does not like what just happened.
Yeah.
Does Nin realize what happened?
Yeah, we all
Make an
know the
Arcana
magic.
check. Everyone can make an Arcana check if you want to try to determine what the spell is. Aster and Julius
Well, we all-
recognized it instantly.
Okay.
Without
The others.
determining the spell, we know magic happened, right?
Yes.
Probably not.
Fuck.
Okay.
Oh no,
no, Nagi!
Oh,
Nagi.
Nagi.
Nagi, no idea. Alex, no idea.
Nagi
Nin,
eats more of the tart.
No, she kept eating more of the tart anyway.
There.
It was
Nin-
strawberry.
Nin, it kind of feels like some of the magic that your mom used to describe to be able to like alter the way people like think, maybe?
Like maybe some sort of charm. effect.
Maybe some sort of charm effect, but not quite charm. You don't feel yourself charmed by this woman. Irene, Zone of Truth.
Julius is gonna pipe up and just say, "That's an interesting way to deal with this," but
Alex considers his tart. Sorry, Alex considers his tart and then says, "Are they supposed to taste like that?"
No, not typically, dear. No, it's a specialty. I think perhaps a local specialty.
Oh, specialty. I need to start getting used to specialties coming out of nowhere.
A specialty, yes, dear.
Ravetta, whose
Specialty.
cup is by the way face down, as like Aster's and Irene's and Alex's is. She goes, I'm sorry for the deception.
Look, if you wouldn't have done it, I kind of would have thought, well. I'm glad you're being safe about it, is all.
So, since you gave us magic laced food, you probably want something from want to know something from us, right? I mean, obviously, we told you that you're. Yeah. Well, I was talking. I was literally talking. Anyway, I mean, you probably do, given that we had contacted you out of nowhere and claimed that someone very dear to you is alive out of, again, nowhere. So, what is it you want to know from us right off the bat?
She kind of looks at you, and then she looks over the group. First, I want to know which one of you claims to be my son.
May we close the screen first?
What did you say,
What did you say, Joe?
May we close the screen first?
Oh, it closed when the waitress took the money and left.
Julius is just gonna kind of take a deep breath in and just say that would be me. And he is going to drop
the disguise?
The disguise.
Yeah.
You drop the disguise, and she is looking at you.
Yeah, insight check for reaction.
You can roll an insight check.
Julius looks very nervous.
Her eyes are piercing into Julius. She is almost as if she's looking for any hint, like any clue that this man is lying to her.
Would you like me to say the last words you said to me?
She glances down at your cup. Are you Kei Satoshi?
Yes, but I haven't been for a while.
You can see her inhale. And her shoulders kind of relax. And she kind of lowers her face into like one hand for a minute. And then she looks up at you again. You look so much like your mother. And I think that's where we're going to call session.
Oh.
So epic and Pogger's mother.
Thank you for again.
God.
That's his mom.
I think it's very funny that Alex failed that Zono Truth Arcana check and he literally has it prepared right now.
King.
He knows how to cast, he doesn't know what it is.
Yeah, to be fair, he's only ever cast it. He's never tasted it.
Oh no, he's never cast it either. He just thought, that looks interesting.
My hands are sweating. I was so nervous.
You did it was so good. Oh my
That
god.
was so good.
Thank you very much, Parker.
Yeah, thank you, Parker.
Very poggers.
You need boost. Thank you so
A very
much.
poggers mom.
God.
I love that waitress. Like, I don't care
She's
about
not, like-
any other NPC right now.
Not even
I'm-
my
You
mom.
She knows what's up.
You still need to change the U quiz, PK.
I don't care about a single other NPC. I'm changing all the U-Quiz questions to questions about that one waitress.
That one waitress. That's
We'll get her
spiked our
name next
food.
session.
My beloved.
2 weeks.
Incredible.
Watch as PK simp for the waitress.
Look. Wouldn't you?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, Aster is very much hoping that she is as discreet as Rivetta seems to think she is.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's
he can
your
also,
mom, Ren.
he can respect wanting to help Rivetta ensure that she wasn't being.
Ravetta's got a 14-inch 16 whiz baby.
Yeah! My
He's a
mom.
smart cookie.
Legends only. That's your mom.
Let's go.
Mom got
Yeah.
some brains on her.
That's
That's
like
your fucking mom.
Julius. Julius
And I
has got that
could-
yeah, I
mind
couldn't
as well.
Mother.
16
Guys.
He's
ages,
also good at
12
act on it.
wisdom.
Poggers is canon now.
Poggers is
Oh
canon.
my God.
Granny
Poggers
has
is
said it
canon.
canonically.
I'm still recording.
Canonically
Good lord.
poggers.
Oh no.
Goodbye, recording.